the cost, I'm ready to win. Yeah, diffuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walk a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running toes. They gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win. Applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I pay for the cost. I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Applied myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I know I've been gone a while. I got sick 1 week, went on vacation another week. Shout out Lil Cuz, shout out Mariah, first birthday. Went out Detroit to go celebrate that. And now I'm back, man. I'm back. We're going to talk about this ACC preview season is here. And first of all, before I get into anything, I think this is around the time my first episode aired last year. So, shout out for the anniversary. Only right that I had to bring my boy Ace for the anniversary episode. We started off my first episode doing the ACC preview. He was here with me. Made a crazy player of the year, but we ain't gonna get into that. But how you doing, Ace? You muted. There you go.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, man. Happy anniversary on the show. It's been a great year for you. Hopefully we can continue it.
Yes, sir. And I'm happy that you're here with me. Then we got the dog master himself, Dave's Doghouse. So Dave's made a couple appearances on CTC, I think mainly in basketball. I'm not sure if you made a football appearance, but Dave, let them know your school and appreciate you for coming on the show.
I mean, all I got to do is throw this up. You pretty much know what that is. It's the U. Man, I'm excited about today, and I believe you're right. This is my first college football appearance, so I'm definitely excited about this. Can't wait to talk about the ACC and who's going to win it all. I think this is going to be really exciting to talk about. So
yes, sir.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Now, before we get into the show, got to do one more thing. I got to talk about all the other shows on the network. I got to talk about the main show, which just went live 2 hours ago, featuring Joe Tomo and Dogmaster himself, Dave. They go live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 to 8-ish. Sometimes 8. Sometimes it depends on how heated the debate is. We got BWT.
It depends on who's on, too.
That is also true, because I do be a part of that joint being late sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I apologize. We got BWT, Baseball with Teddy. I know he's celebrating a good weekend series. Sorry, Dave. Y'all got him on the season series, though, so there's that. But Yankees fan, all your baseball content through Teddy. We have, like I said again, Dave's Doghouse. He makes dogs and put dogs in the doghouse. Any highlight, lowlights in the sports world goes through Dave. You can drop 30 and 10. You'll be a dog. You can drop 3 and 1. You'll be in a doghouse. So highlights, lowlights go through him. We got RBO, Real Ballers Only. That's featuring Vaughn. That's an NBA-centered show. We did the I guess technically, well, we'll just say off-season. We talked about the draft. He talked about the draft. He talked about free agency. He talked about teams what they like, teams he liked, teams he didn't like. He talks about his magic. He talks about hidden gems. He talks about all that NBA-related. Go to RBO. We got fantasy football with Coach Coombs. Fantasy football is around the corner, especially with the Hall of Fame game this Thursday, Bears-Texans. What more of a better time to tune into fantasy football with Coach Coombs than now? I know some people having their drafts. You're absolutely crazy if you have drafts before training camp is dang near over. I normally would like to wait until maybe last week of preseason to draft because injuries happen. But if you want to get a jump on that, FFC. We have Kings Talk featuring Joe's Jordan, where self-explained, he talks about the Sacramento Kings, getting DeMar DeRozan, from making the playoffs 2 years ago and breaking a historic streak to making the play-in, things of that nature. Go to Kings Talk, and last but certainly not least, we have In the Red Corner, and that has everything to do with boxing. No exhibitions, you're going to make time mad, but they talk about anything in the boxing world. I wonder if they're going to do Olympics. They should do Olympics. They might. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm just saying. I don't know. But anything boxing, you go through In the Red Corner. That's featuring Tomo, Ty, and Ricky. So check them out for all your boxing news. And I believe that's all the shows on the network. So let's get right into it. ACC, as you see, my name. Oh, wait, first, I got to read the comments out loud. I got to read them out loud. So Joe says CTC is back. I know it's been 2 weeks, maybe even 3. Glad to be back. Happy 1-year anniversary. Keep grinding. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you giving me this platform to grind. And hey, it's about that time again. And last but certainly not least, Joe says my man Dave was good at Asa. So again, shout out to my boy Joe, the whole reason why we're here. First, we gotta talk about some new teams in the ACC. As you can see, my name. Hold on, let me scroll all the way back to the top to get this banner down. My name is Atlantic Coast to Coast because that's what the ACC now stands for, adding Cal and Stanford. And if you want to say the third coast being the South, SMU in Texas. Adding 3 new teams. SMU coming off an American championship at that. So that's good there. Cal, Stanford. Sorry, and if I got any Cal, Stanford fans that's going to watch this show or watching, kind of bottom feeders in the Pac-12. But 3 additions now making the conference 17 teams. Now, here's some little notes that's now new to the ACC. Teams will play each other at least twice over 7 years. That's now added to the ACC. Florida State, reigning conference champs, predicted it last year, went undefeated. Jordan Travis did his thing. Sorry, Miami fans. I know y'all hate to see it, but I told y'all. And I mean, we're going to touch on it, but we're not going to talk about it. Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame might be a little unhappy. Florida State and Clemson, I think, been talking about leaving the ACC for kind of a little while now. But things might be getting heating up. I know they were in talks with the Big 12, possibly joining the Big 12. Anybody care to comment? Just touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I think it's over the TV rights or something like that, right?
Yeah, Florida State for sure was a part of that. I think they felt like the ACC, they were like the biggest part of why the ACC is like big, and they felt like they weren't getting their fair share, I believe. So,
I mean,
yeah, wasn't it them and Clemson or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Ace.
I mean, yeah, when you look at the money that the SEC is getting in like the Big Ten, you know, it does kind of seem like the ACC kind of falls off when it's those prime time games and everything.
As it should, by the way. But
I mean, yeah, talent wise for sure. But you know, I mean, they got the ACC network. I guess it ain't bringing in enough money.
yeah, so just a little thing to look out for. I don't think it's going to affect the season this year, but it could maybe next year cause some turmoil and make some conferences bigger than what they already are. I think one of them, I think it was Florida State, wanted to try to go SEC, and the SEC like, nah, we good. we good.
Yeah, it was Florida
I
State.
did see something interesting about the SEC though. They said that like the original team can come back, like Tulane and some other team. I can't remember.
Oh, Tulane would be kind of cool.
They
got someone right here, Troy head coach John. Someone, that might be cool.
Yeah,
they might be getting smacked, but it might be cool to see too. But all right, let's get into these previews though. We just wanted to touch on that for y'all. We're gonna start off. Y'all know I do my previews in alphabetical order, so this is not who I think is gonna be first in the ACC. Just like I said, alphabetical order. Boston College, man. Boston College new head coach Bill O'Brien coming off a 6-6, 3-5 season record of same thing record. And a Fenway Bowl win versus new edition reigning AAC champion SMU, 23-14. I'm gonna just name a couple players, touch on them, let y'all do y'all thing. If y'all miss some nice guy on here, I'm gonna just go over that real quick. But they got the 73rd ranked recruiting class, 55th recruiting class, 55th in transfers. Thomas Castellanos is the biggest part of them coming back at quarterback. His legs is tremendous at quarterback. Kyle Robichaux at running back is coming back. Castellanos had 2,248 yards, 15 touchdowns, 14 picks, 1,113 yards, and 13 touchdowns on the ground for a quarterback, which is crazy. Kyle Robichaux had 163 carries, 780 yards, 4.8 average and 8 touchdowns on the ground. And they also returned Lewis Bond, receiver, 52 yards, 646 yards. 52 catches, 646 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I'm gonna start with Dave. Go ahead, give me something about Boston College.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to talk about their recruiting class. Like you said, 73 ranked overall, 55th ranked transfer class. They do have some good guys coming over. It's not highly rated guys, but they did get Cameron Martinez. It came over from Ohio State. I think that's going to help out there. He's a safety, so that's going to be some depth in the defense for Boston College. That helps out with Bill O'Brien coming over there. Even though he's an offensive mind, it helps out that he gets some defense to come over to help him out. Also got Deshaun Ward that came from Washington State.
Kansas State.
Oh, yeah, Kansas State. I'm looking at the
you might be thinking of Cam Ward.
Yeah, well, no. Cam Ward, whatever. I know that. Commander Morales also came from University of North Carolina. So they had a couple guys that were already in the ACC come over there to transfer there. So definitely good. And I actually like that their schedule was not too brutal, honestly. They got some winnable games in the schedule. Playing Duquesne, of course.
Shout out to FCS.
Western Kentucky. They got Michigan State, which can be that could be a back and forth game between those two teams.
Red bandana.
I'm definitely looking forward to see what Boston College can do this year. Ace.
All right. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, Boston College probably going to be pretty decent this year. They got, I think, like 17 starters returning, 9 on offense, 8 on defense. So that should give them a lot of experience. Thomas Castellanos, like Carl said earlier, he's great with his legs. We're going to see if Bill O'Brien can kind of help him along with the passing game. I think that'll be the big difference in them winning more games than they did last year. Even though last year, I think it was a pretty decent season for them. This is Bill O'Brien's first season, right?
Yeah, this is first season, but this is a successful season for Boston College last year, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm not sure that if they get 6 wins this season. I'm going to just be honest. Their defense is, it's questionable. It's very questionable. They weren't great last year. I mean, they could stop the run, but they couldn't stop the pass for anything. They were near the bottom in multiple categories, like sacks, points allowed. I mean, they do have a new defensive coordinator, Tim Lewis. So he may try to make things a little bit more chaotic on that side of the ball, but, I got to see it in order to believe it.
So I tend to agree with you, especially defensively. It's a little below average. It could be solid at times, but I just don't see a lot from this Boston College team. I am high on Castellanos, especially if he can get the passing game down. Y'all know I love Robichaux. Lewis Bond is cool. But I got some other players that return. Well, I got another one at linebacker, Vinny Diploma. 92 total tackles, 42 solos, 1 pass breakup, and half a sack. But I got another guy they did lose in Elijah Jones. He had 5 interceptions. He's now with the Arizona Cardinals. And I like the transfer guy he brought up with Treshaun Ward out of Kansas State coming over, but there's another guy that I really like, and he almost went to South Carolina, and then he went to Boston College, and Jaden McGowan. Now, his stats aren't too crazy. Jaden McGowan had 36 catches for 383 yards, and actually his only touchdown on the year was a kickoff return touchdown, I believe, against Hawaii. But he's a nice, explosive guy who can get open, and I think that will help the run game by him being able to get open in the pass game, provide another target for Castellanos, mixing him with Lewis Bond. Now, the one transfer I thought was kind of, why'd you come, was Grayson James. Maybe he's there for, security. Grayson James from FIU. He didn't really play much at FIU. This is literally his season stats. 19 to 37, 51.4% completion percentage, 218 yards, a touchdown, and a pick with a rushing touchdown. Didn't really play at FIU. When he did play, was not good. Now, it could have been because FIU in themselves were not a good team, but was a little confused on that transfer pickup. But if everybody's done with their notes on BC, we can go and move on to the schedule.
I do have one more player to mention, Kamari Morales, the transfer tight end from North Carolina. Yeah, I think he was the all-time leader in touchdowns for tight ends. So I think if anybody else is going to help Castellanos improving the passing game is going to be security blanket like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave brought him up.
Yep. That was the one. That was the one transfer. I was like, okay, I think this might help out their offense for sure. But other than that,
all right. So if you're new to our preview, what we do is we go game by game. I say FSU, for example, BC first game's FSU. At FSU, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna say, well, we'll just do it. So at FSU, I have an L. We're just gonna order. Dave, what do you have?
L.
Ace.
For sure, L.
All right, moving on. We have Duquesne, which I wrote an L for this. Oh, I'm sticking to it. I'll go L. I'm sticking to it. I wrote an L. I don't know why I did, but I'm going to do it, so I'm doing it.
I'm going with a W.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a W on that one. You must got it.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Bet on it or something.
I'm sorry. I'm going to W. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm about to say, don't be Kev and be stubborn. Go ahead and change it.
I don't know why I had that. Like, what is going on? You know what? My record reflects that. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Whatever. We'll move on. At Mizzou, I have an L.
I also have an L for Mizzou.
Yeah, L.
Yeah, Mizzou is going crazy. MSU, the red bandana game. Now, because it's the red bandana game, I almost gave them the W. Because that red bandana game, Boston College is a different animal. I just think I have an L, and it's only because MSU is dealing with a first-year head coach and Jonathan Smith. And for some reason, when MSU has first-year head coaches, we do good. Don't know why. So I got it as an L for them strictly because of that. But I was thinking about this. It took me a minute to think about this one.
Yeah, I got a W for Boston College on this one. I feel like it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, red bandana games are always kind of competitive, but I don't know. I think I'm going to give him an L on this one.
My boy. All right, moving on to our beloved, me and Ace's beloved Western Kentucky. I actually have Boston College beating Western Kentucky.
So do I.
As do I.
All right. And then our second ACC game, we have at UVA. I actually have this as a loss.
I have this as a win.
I have it as a win, too.
Y'all know how I feel about UVA and Boston College games. They can go either way. Normally a good competitive fight. And you know how I feel about Anthony Calandria, who we will talk about later. And that's why I gave him the L. Next, we have at Virginia Tech, which I have as an L.
I also have this as an L.
Yeah, that's an L.
Moving on to Louisville, which I have as an L.
L.
Then we move on to Syracuse, which I have as a W.
W.
I was iffy on this one, but I got it as an L.
Ooh.
Well,
I don't know, man. I just can't trust Kyle McCord. Moving on to
all right. Well, we'll say that for later.
All right, moving on to at SMU, which I have as an L. SMU gets revenge at home.
I think this one, what did I have down for this one? Yeah, I have this as an L too.
Yeah, SMU gets revenge.
All right, versus UNC. Surprisingly, I think Boston College can get at UNC on the ground with a running quarterback. We've seen Georgia Tech do it. Have this as a W against UNC.
I originally had this as a W for Boston College, but I changed it and went to W for UNC.
Yeah, I actually have this as an L for Boston College. I'm just not that big on them this year. I think
I feel you. I do. But again, I seen the way Georgia Tech attacked them on the ground, and UNC already is not known for having like great defenses. I think that Boston College could create some problems, and that's why I gave them the W.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a question mark by it, but I mean I'm not gonna give no more respect than it's due.
All right, and our last game is Pitt, which I gave Boston College the W. I'm not really feeling Pitt, and I'm not really feeling what they did after last year.
I gave Pitt a W for this one.
I actually have Boston College getting a W for this one. Like Carl said, I'm not really big on Pitt either, and we'll get to that.
All right, so my season record for Boston College is now 5-7, so 1 game short of 6 wins, and 3-5 in the ACC. Dave, what is your record? And then followed by Ace.
Yeah, I have them 5-7, and overall, I didn't look at the ACC, but 5-7 overall.
Yeah, I had them going 4-8 overall.
See, I had them 4-8 with that Duquesne Ale, which I don't know why I wrote that, but yeah, I have them 5-7, 3-5. All right, so that's Boston College. We're going to move on to Cal, our first team that is new to the ACC. Cal is coming off a 6-6, 4-5 record in the Pac-12, which honestly was a shocker to me. They did lose the Independence Bowl to Texas Tech, 34-14. Again, this is their first year in the ACC. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Cal, and then I'm gonna throw it to Ace, and then Ace is gonna throw it to Dave. So, as y'all talked about Cal last year, y'all know I love Jaden Ott. Jaden Ott is now a true junior. Jaden Ott returns at running back after having 245 carries for 1,305 yards, 12 touchdowns, averaging 5.3 a carry with 26 catches, 196 yards, and 2 tuds with a kickoff touchdown. Jaden Ott did it all last year for Cal. They also bring back Fernando Mendoza, who went 153 for 243, having a 63% completion percentage, 1,708 yards, 14 tuds with 10 picks. So he has to cool off on interceptions, but he did have 2 rushing touchdowns to match that. Had the 39th overall ranked recruiting class, 17th with transfers, which is really good for a Cal team. I'll let y'all do y'all thing. I got a lot more, trust me, but I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing first.
Yeah, so about Cal, like you said, Jaden Ott is definitely the player that you have to take note of when you talk about this team. He's so dynamic in everything that he can do on the field. I think that Cal will kind of have a similar kind of year. I think they've been very up and down with head coach Justin Wilcox over the last few years. They do return a decent amount of production from last year, so I think from an offense that showed flashes, I think that is important. They did lose their leading receiver to the transfer portal, but they bring in Tobias Merriweather, a transfer from Notre Dame. They led the nation in takeaways last year, so if they can have any kind of continued success with that, that obviously will help their defense. Unfortunately, they were 121st in defensive success rate, so they are going to have to improve on that. But again, I think this is going to be one of those teams where the offense is going to take, the lead, and, hopefully the defense can bend but don't break. And another thing to note is, like, how are they going to deal with the travel and all this stuff? It's, they're in a bi-coastal conference now, so it's going to be a lot of different things that these teams have to be aware of now with all this travel.
Jet lag is a thing. So my fault, Dave, before you go. I'm glad you said that, Ace. They returned 7 offensive starters and 9 defensive starters. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so their quarterback Mendoza only threw for 1,700 yards last year, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not really a good rate. That's kind of like Eli Manning-esque numbers in the NFL. Jaden Ott, though, averaged 5.3 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns last year on 245 carries, 1,300 yards. I feel like he's going to have another outstanding year, honestly, this year. And even his backup, Isaiah Ifanise, I think he's going to be pretty well. He's gone, I believe. Yeah, I think that was his last year. He was pretty good last year. He also averaged about 5 yards a carry. I'm expecting actually a pretty good year from Cal this year. I'm expecting them to at least make a bowl this year. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about some more players real quick before I get into the transfers. So they did return David Reese at linebacker, 33 total tackles, 20 solos, 3 pass breakups, 6.5 sacks, which is really great. And well, not great, but really good. And 3 forced fumbles, which is really great. They did lose. No. Yeah, they did lose Jeremiah Hunter, which Ace already brought up. He went to Washington. I just wanted to say that he went to Washington. They did lose Patrick McMorris at safety, 88 total tackles. I think this is 50 solos, but 50 or 30, bad handwriting. 7 pass breakups, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick. He's now in the NFL to the Dolphins, so shout out to him. And they did return at wide receiver Tron Grizzle, 39 catches, 590 yards, and 5 touchdowns, who was behind Jeremiah Hunter as the second leading receiver. Now let's get into these transfers. Now, like you said, Dave, Mendoza only threw for 1,700 yards. And what did Cal do? Cal went and bolstered up that receiving corps. Ace brought up the 1 receiver. They also got Corey Dyches from University of Maryland. They also got Jonathan Brady from New Mexico State, who was one of the better receivers at New Mexico State. And they also bring over Mikey Matthews from Utah. So instantly bolsters up that that receiving corps. But here's the thing. Mendoza got weapons, but Mendoza has to win that quarterback battle because they did bring over C.J. Harris, who's an athletic quarterback from the University of Ohio, who University of Ohio actually had high hopes for, bruh, and it didn't really pan out. But he now has new life at Cal. And they also brought over Chandler Rogers, who's another athletic quarterback from University of North Texas, who I actually like. And I think he might win that starting job. So that's going to be tough. That's a nice little quarterback battle situation to watch. Also bring over Teddy Buchanan from UC Davis, linebacker, so it helps the defense out. I have some numbers for y'all. They were 61st in total offense, 102nd in total defense, 45th on the ground rushing offense, 35th in rushing defense, 71st in passing, 128th in pass defense. So terrible. I mean, you know, they had the exact opposite of a no-fly zone.
Right.
67th on third down percentage on offense, and 95th on getting off the field on third down percentage. 47th in scoring and 111th in scoring defense. So defensively, they need a lot of help. If y'all have anything else, we can get on to the schedule.
Yeah, I think one more thing. They brought in Marcus Harris, who was a cornerback from Idaho, who apparently was a very good FCS cornerback last year. Hopefully he can help up with that secondary. But other than that, that's all I wanted to add. All
right, so let's get into the schedule. Funny enough, Teddy Buchanan gets to play against his former school, UC Davis. I have that as a W.
Yeah, I have that as a W.
So do I.
All right. Auburn at Auburn. I believe Cal beat Auburn at Cal last year. I think Auburn gets revenge. I have this as an L for Cal.
Yeah, I have this as an L for them for sure.
Yep, I do too. I feel like Auburn gets their revenge and wins at home.
Next, we have versus San Diego State, who was on my top 10 teams who let me down last year. Group of 5. I got not top 10 period. They were my top 10 schools to watch in the group of 5. They let me down. I have this as a W for Cal.
Yeah, I have this as a W for Cal as well.
Yep, W.
All right, then we move on to our first ACC game at FSU. I have this as an L to Florida State.
Yeah, L.
It's a consensus L.
All right, then we move on at home to Miami, the U. I have this as an L for Cal.
I have this as an L.
So do I.
Then we move on to at Pitt, which I think they actually get the W at Pitt.
I think they get the W at Pitt as well.
Yeah, we all agree.
All right, we move on to NC State, which I believe they lose to NC State.
We agree once again.
I have them winning. I have them beating NC State.
Whoa. I think you're wilding here. NC State is going to be one of the better ACC schools.
Yeah.
I know. I just feel like Cal is going to,
especially with that defense.
Hey, you never know. The ACC is wide open this year. That is the crazy thing about it.
It is. I can somewhat agree with that.
I think it's pretty open.
I can somewhat agree with that. We move on to the former Pac-12 matchup versus Oregon State. I have this as a W.
I have this as a W as well.
Yeah, W.
Then we move on to at Wake Forest. I have this as a W.
W. I know it was your turn.
Losing at Wake Forest.
What?
Only because it's at Wake Forest. And I think
I have
that means with these bi-coastal games, man. I'm telling you.
I do feel you. I feel the bi-coastal aspect. I really do. I'm just super
I
low.
don't. No, I'm not saying Wake Forest is a better team.
I'm not high.
And
look at Joe.
I think it's just
Look
gonna be one of
Joe.
them.
Joe said Wake football team is trash. That's facts.
I mean, they're still trying to replace Sam Hartman, but
the guy that they really love, Mitch Griffiths, ended up transferring, and then he stepped away from football. So yeah, you're right. Syracuse. I have this as a W against Syracuse.
Yeah, I have them getting a W against Syracuse.
Yeah, I got a W against Syracuse.
Then we move on to Stanford, where I have this as a W against Stanford.
Another W.
I got him losing to Stanford.
Ooh, okay. Then the last game at SMU, I have this as an L.
I have it as an L as well.
L.
So I have Cal going 7-5, 4-4 in their first season in the ACC.
Yeah, I have Cal going 6-6.
I got him going 7-5.
Ace, you got an ACC record?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't even count it. I got you.
It's all good. All right, so we're going to move on from Cal to Clemson, the University of Clemson, which I'm, as a South Carolina fan, I have fingers in my head. But move on to University of Clemson, where they're coming off an 8-4, 4-4 season. Now, 8-4 for most teams would be a solid season, but for Clemson, it's a disappointment, especially going 4-4 in the ACC. Very disappointing season. But they did win the Gator Bowl for whatever consolation prize that is against Kentucky, SEC school. So, Dabo probably use whatever motivational thing he can. Like, hey, we beat the SEC still. So, whatever that means. But Cade Klubnik returns at quarterback. And as you know from last year, I am not super high on him. But, hey, maybe he grew over the year. Another year under that offense. Another year where he knows it's his team. Coming off of so he threw 290 for 454, 63.9%, 2,844 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, decent 2-to-1 ratio. He also did have 4 rushing touchdowns. Before I go into the next starter, they do return 8 offensive starters, but only 2 on defense. But in my opinion, the 2 defensive starters coming back really don't mean much because Clemson gonna have a defense no matter what. So I think they're just going to plug and play there. Phil Maffa at running back also returns 179 carries, which actually I believe might have been more than Will Shipley. 965 yards, 5.4 a carry, and 13 touchdowns. I will say, speaking of Will Shipley, he did. I have it right here. They did lose Will Shipley to the NFL. He's on the Eagles. 167 carries, 827 yards, 5 a carry, 5 touchdowns, and he was the return guy for Clemson. Again, like I always do, I'm gonna let y'all talk about Clemson, and I'll clean it up at the end. Dave, we'll go with you.
So for Clemson, the one school that did not get a transfer in at all.
So typical of Dabo. It's so Dabo.
But that's like Carl said, that's Dabo Sweeney. But they did have a recruiting class that came in this year.
15.
I believe they're 15th overall recruiting class. Yep. The composite rating ranked it 11th, but the transfer rank is at A because, of course, they didn't have any. Their highest rated transfers were Sammy Brown, who's a linebacker, 6'2", 230, from Georgia, and TJ Moore from Tampa, Florida. He's a wide receiver, 6'3", 195 pounds. And Bryant Wesco, who's another wide receiver from Texas. So I feel like this right here is what's going to help your guy, your boy, Klubnik. I feel like this will help him out if he has improved from what he did last season. Giving him 2 weapons on the that'll be able to play on the outside and the inside. I watched some of TJ Moore. He's actually good. He's a pretty good route runner. I believe he's a really good slot guy as well. Brian Wesco, I think they may use him in returning games sometimes, but he's also another good dynamic wide receiver. So I think this will help Clemson out this year if he's able to step up. And that's pretty much what I got for them. Their defense is already good enough, and they add Sammy Brown, who was a 5-star recruit out of Georgia. Georgia usually breeds really good linebackers and defensive guys. So I didn't say help him out.
Yeah, piggybacking off what Dave said, I think those two freshman wide receivers could definitely help Cade take a step forward if they can develop quickly. Phil Maffa, I think that's somebody that they're just going to have to lean on pretty much like they did with Will Shipley a few years ago. If they could get that big bruiser guy going and just be a physical football team. I mean, granted, their defense only returns 2 starters this year, but I mean, it's just a revolving door with those guys. They're always going to have talent. They're always going to have guys on that defensive staff that'll put their players in the right place. They were top 10 in total defense, passing defense. They forced 28 turnovers. I mean, this is just Clemson. This is the Clemson we know.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into some more of the players that they returned and lost. So they did keep their tight end, Jake Brinkstool. He had 50 catches, 498 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So that's really good for a tight end. I think he's one of the top tight ends in the country. Y'all know I love Jack State. Sean Brown is also one of the best tight ends. Had to throw him out there. Tyler Brown returns at wide receiver, 52 catches, 531 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Antonio Williams, so the young guys. Antonio Williams, 21 catches, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hopefully that production steps up this year. They did lose Bo Collins to Notre Dame, who had 38 catches, 510 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Lost Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to the NFL. He went to the Eagles. 87 total tackles, 54 solo, 5.5 sacks, 5 pass breakups, 2 picks, a touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles. Lost Nate Wiggins to my Ravens. Cornerback, 28 total tackles, 22 solo, a sack, 6 pass breakups, 2 picks, a touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles. Again, like I said, they were 8th in total defense, 50th in total offense, 50th in scoring offense, tied 29th in scoring defense, 42nd in rushing, 22nd in rushing defense, 60th in passing, 8th in passing defense, 56th on third down percentage, and 17th on getting off the field on third down percentage on defense. So again, defensively doing really well. Passing was can be better. But like you said, Ace, they're going to have to lean on Phil Maffa. Hopefully that opens up the passing game for Cade Klubnik. My bad. One more person that returned I missed. Khalil Barnes at safety. 38 total tackles, 33 solos, 1 sack, 6 pass breakups, 3 picks, and 3 forced fumbles. Just turning the ball over the Clemson way, like you said, Ace. Defense, turnovers. That's Clemson. If anybody has anything else, if nothing else to add, we can go on to the schedule.
Oh, I do have one thing. Will their kicking game be better? Because that's going to also determine whether
they hurt Florida State.
Yeah. Like they had that guy who had graduated or something was working on Wall Street. They can't do that again. They can't. I
forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that definitely going to have to get that together. But probably Dabo probably had multiple walk-on tryouts, multiple like, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't letting that just slide by. Not again.
About that. All right, so we're going to the schedule. First game, a banger. We have a neutral site game. I do in quotations because it's in Atlanta versus Georgia. That's an L. Dave, you start this one. You got to unmute.
My bad, L.
Yes, for sure, L.
All right, so I'm going to just, if y'all agree, just say yes. I have them winning out the rest of the schedule.
Yes.
No, I don't.
What are they? Let me guess. Hold on. Let me see. All right. What are your L's? You have
talking about
Florida State?
Yes.
Oof. I think they might do it to FSU this year.
Yeah, I have them losing to Florida State and Clemson. Florida State and South Carolina. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. As a South Carolina fan, I don't know what my quarterback's about to do. So I don't know if I can give that a W, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of quarterback play at South Carolina, and it's not been great, which was the reason why I was happy we got Spencer Rattler when we did. I remember I told Ace know him, this guy named Leon. I was like, if Spencer Rattler would have went to MSU, I'd have been like, just another quarterback prospect. But since he went to South Carolina, which we haven't had a good quarterback since Connor Shaw, I was excited. But, like, I don't know if we can recruit quarterbacks at South Carolina. So I'm definitely giving that to Clemson.
Yeah, Nick Harbaugh ain't going to be enough.
And I know he gets a lot of hype because of the NCAA 25, which, by the way, I'm addicted. But he had like 100-something yards last year. He's going to, like, his production is remained to be shown.
Yeah.
And we lost our best guy in Xavier Legette, and we lost Juice Wells. He went to Ole Miss. So
he had to step up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have them beating App State, NC State, Stanford, FSU, Wake Forest, UVA, Louisville, which might be a close one, VTech, Pitt, Citadel, and South Carolina, having them going 11-1, 8-0 in conference play. And Ace agrees because he said yes.
I only have them losing one game in ACC play, and that's Florida State.
So you have them going 9-3, 7-1, because you have them losing to Georgia, Florida State, and South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dabo might, if he's watching, might use this against you if they do what we do.
If he does, I don't care.
Typical Dabo. All right, we're going to move on now to Duke. Now, Duke and basketball day would be all for it, but this is not basketball. So
sure not. I could care less about the football thing.
But we could talk about Manny Diaz, the new head coach coming over from Penn State, was the Penn State defensive coordinator prior to that. He's defensive coordinator at Penn State now at Duke. Duke is coming off a 7-5, 4-4 season. They won the Birmingham Bowl against our beloved Troy Trojans, 17-10. They returned 5 offensive starters, 3 defensive starters. So a lot of people have left the Duke program. One guy who's huge, actually 2 guys that's huge that left Duke, Riley Leonard. He has now gone to Notre Dame, so now I just like him. Riley Leonard went 95 or 165. He did get hurt. What game was that? Was that Notre Dame? Yeah, I think he got hurt in the Notre Dame game. Funny enough, he got hurt in the Notre Dame game.
Hey, can't beat him, join him.
95 to 165. Threw completion percentage of 57.6%. 3 touchdowns to 3 picks and 1,102 yards in total. But Riley Leonard also brings the ground game where he had 58 carries, 352 yards for 4 touchdowns. Another key loss was Jordan Waters. Running back, he had 153 carries, 819 yards, 5.4 carry with 12 tugs, and he went to NC State. So that was huge for NC State. They also lost Jalen Calhoun, wide receiver, 50 catches, 666 yards. I actually hate that I had to write that down. And 4 touchdowns. He is now on the Lions. Shout out to him. Good luck with the NFL. But some guys that returned was Grayson Loftus, who was the backup quarterback last year for Riley Leonard. He returns. He threw 91 for 163, 1,006 yards, 55.8% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns to 4 picks. And Jaquez Moore, who was the backup running back, he had 116 carries, 674 yards for 6 tugs. He came back. Duke also had the 59th recruiting class, but 43rd class when it came to transfers. Ace, tell me something about Duke.
Yeah, so, I have an affinity for Manny Diaz. I think that he's going to improve on the defense that they have. I think their secondary is already pretty good. Manny's just going to help with them bring pressure, going to cause more turnovers, and I think that's really going to be a good surprise for that team that's bringing in Malik Murphy. They have a new offensive coordinator, Jonathan Brewer, who came from SMU, an explosive offense. So I think he's going to be able to implement some things in there and make them an exciting team and probably, under the radar, dangerous team for teams to play. SMU put up over 30 points a game, over 400 yards per game. So, if they can have any kind of production similar to that, Duke might be a tough team.
Dave?
Yeah, I want to talk about one of the guys that they recruited this year. Kobe Smith out of Tennessee. He's an edge rusher. They're expecting a lot of high stuff from him this year. He had 200 tackles, 13 forced fumbles, with 6 defensive touchdowns in high school. He's one of the top-ranked edge rushers in the nation. They also got a top wide receiver in that class as well, Chase Tyler out of Powder Springs, Georgia. I feel like that helps out a little of what they lost in their offense last season, but it's Duke, so I don't expect a lot from Duke football. But they do have some new stuff that's happening next year for their football stadium. I believe I posted it in the college football chat earlier today.
You did.
Duke has introduced plans for their Devil's Deck at Wallace Wade Stadium, which is going to be an in-game DJ, yard games, access to beer, seltzer, exclusive access to open standing areas, and all-you-can-eat food and non-alcoholic drinks. Tickets are $45 in advance and $35 for students. So
yeah, which is pretty solid pricing.
They got that going for them.
Yeah, so Ace, I actually wanted to talk about the secondary. They do lose a couple key pieces in Al Blaze Jr., who is now on the Jets. So shout out to him. Good luck. And they do lose Miles Jones, who's also on the Jets. Funny enough. So shout out to him. So they do lose a couple pieces in that secondary, which that defense last year was a lot of the reason why Duke was competitive last year. You brought up Malik Murphy, which is a great addition to the team. I think he's going to beat out Grayson Loftus for that starting job. They also brought over Star Thomas, the running back from New Mexico State. Man, New Mexico State got dismantled. I'm going to just say it now. They lost Diego Pavea. They lost Star Thomas. They lost Jonathan Brady. They lost a lot of their key pieces at New Mexico State. Got dismantled. And they also bring over Javon Harvey, a receiver from ODU, who had 29 catches, 391 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So a solid season. ODU was a solid team. Star Thomas, 112 carries, 653 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He also was able to catch the ball out of the backfield for 22 catches, 200 yards, and 2 tuds. I think he brings another added dynamic with Jaquez Moore. I think that's going to be a nice little 1-2 punch there. They also returned Trey Freeman at linebacker. He had 106 total tackles, 55 solo, sack and a half, 3 PBUs, a pick, and a 4th fumble. So if I have some numbers, which kind of don't really matter because of the lack of starters they bring back, but they did it. 94th in total offense, 41st in total defense, 66th in scoring offense, tied 16th in scoring defense, which is really good. 56th in rushing, 45th in rushing defense, 110th in passing, 41st in pass defense, 88th, however, on third down percentage on offense, and 57th in third down percentage on. Oh, excuse me. I was thinking 88%. They were 88th, which is not good, in third down percentage, and 57th on getting off the field and third down percentage. On defense, if don't have any of the notes, we can go to the schedule.
We can go to the schedule.
All right. So we're going to start with Elon, which I have as a W.
Have as a W as well.
W.
Have at Northwestern, a revenge game. I have this as an L.
I have this as an L for Duke.
Yeah, I do too. I have it as an L.
Hey, man.
Definitely, I fall hard on this one, but I have it as an L.
Hey, man, Northwestern was able to turn it around. Interim coach got the head coaching job. I like what I saw.
May not be the same.
Yeah. I have UConn as a W.
W.
This would be a very competitive game if it were basketball. This is football. I got.
Hey, don't sleep on UConn now. They might lose, but UConn kind of been a little competitive the last couple of years.
I'm just saying in the national.
It might not even be competitive in basketball, but I don't know if I want to go that route. And I'm not saying for y'all either. We gonna move on to though.
Wow. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I got Duke winning the game though.
I got UConn winning it easily. We're gonna go on to Middle Tennessee State. Y'all arch nemesis. I have it as a W.
Yeah, W.
I got it as a W. That's a good shot, Carl. I want them to play us again. See what happens this time.
Nah, for real.
Y'all gonna beat the brakes on them boys. We're gonna move on to UNC, the rivalry game. I have UNC winning this one. I have this as an L for Duke.
I actually have Duke winning this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. I got Duke winning this game.
I think I don't know, man. I think it's just gonna be a shootout for some reason. I think Duke and UNC kind of beat shootouts for real. I just trust Max Johnson. Trust me, I don't know why. I just trust Max Johnson more than I trust Malik Murphy. Don't ask. I don't know why.
Trust in Max Johnson.
I know. It sounds crazy. That's why I said don't ask, because it's crazy. I don't know why. I really don't. Maybe it's because he got his brother. Maybe because he got Jake Johnson over there. Maybe because he got Mac Brown. I don't know. But I think UNC wins this one on the road. All right, so we're going to move on to at Georgia Tech. I have this as an L. As we're going to talk about, I think Justin Keys is his name. We're going to talk about him later.
Yeah, I have an L.
Yeah. I have them beating Georgia Tech.
I kind of like Georgia Tech this year. I don't know why. I really do. And Haynes King, if he just cut down on the turnovers, which I know it's gonna be hard for him to do, you cut down on them picks. I think they can beat Duke.
Sounds like Josh Allen.
Hey man,
Call back.
your words, not mine. We're gonna move on to Florida State. I actually have them beating Florida State.
Huh?
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I have them losing to Florida State.
I have them beating
I
Florida
do
State.
too.
Y'all, you want to know the real reason why I have them beating Florida
Elaborate,
State?
please.
I don't trust DJ Uiagalelei. I don't. I'm so off the DJ Uiagalelei train. It's ridiculous.
I agree with you on that. But
I'm off that train. And if we're going to be completely honest, Duke was in that Florida State game last year because of their defense. It's just offensively, I think Riley Leonard was hurt, and offensively they just couldn't put enough together to beat Florida State. But if they had a better offense, they might have won that game with that powerful Florida State team. Again, I think Duke
I feel like if they had Drake May as their quarterback, they could have won that game.
Might have won that game. I think Duke also shot themselves in the foot that game too. But I also think that Duke, if they can have a good defense, which I think they will under Manny Diaz, I think they can force Uiagalelei to turn the ball over. He's not going to look as good. And Florida State also loses a lot of production. So, any quarrels before I move on?
no, I mean,
it's a good explanation.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to move on to SMU. I have them losing to SMU.
I have them losing to SMU as well.
Me too.
We're going to move on to at Miami. I actually have them losing to Miami.
I do too.
I actually have them losing as well.
Yeah, I figured y'all agree. We're going to move on to at NC State, another rivalry game. I have them losing to NC State.
Yeah, great.
And we're going to move on from at NC State to at home versus Virginia Tech. I have them losing to Virginia Tech.
I have them losing as well.
I have them winning.
You want? Y'all made me elaborate Florida State. You want to elaborate or you want to keep it pushing?
I don't really have an explanation. I just feel like they win this game.
All right.
I'll be honest.
I know how to be.
All right. And my last one at Wake Forest, I have as a W.
Yeah,
I have them beating Wake Forest. Yeah.
All right. So my record for Duke this year, no bowl game unless a lot of teams don't make it. 5-7, 2-6 in the ACC.
I have them going 6-6, 3-5 in the ACC.
I have them 6-6. I don't have the ACC record. I have no ACC records for anybody, honestly.
Nah, we got to. It's all good. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not that high on Duke. I mean, it's 2 games off from last year.
I think they'll be a mediocre team.
Yeah, I think they'll be a middle of the pack team. I think they'll be competitive nonetheless. I just think for real, you got to play. I think they have a tough little schedule. You got SMU, the U, NC State, Northwestern.
The last part of the schedule was like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not
Virginia Tech. Yeah, their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 games is Florida State, SMU, the U, NC State, VTech, and Wake Forest. That's kind of a crazy stretch.
Yeah. And it's like Wake Forest might even get that win at the end just because they may be so beat up in all the other games.
I can't rock with you. I can't even let you.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm saying all I'm saying is if it happens, then that'll be the excuse.
Hey, if it happens, I will
go beat up,
bow down, tip my cap, all that. I can't let you get that off.
Oh my gosh, Ty just had to come in the comments.
Yeah, I was about to say Ty with the usual hate. Miami is trash. Hey Ty, you control all you want.
Oh, he gonna hate this segment later.
Oh, he might. But what I'm saying is, you controlling the Big Ten. You had the opportunity to join. I put the message out there. We're gonna move on to Florida State. I just talked about Florida State a little bit. Florida State coming off a Carl predicted 13-0 season. ACC championship, all Carl predicted. They did lose in the Orange Bowl 63-3, but they didn't play anybody. So everybody said we're playing in the bowl game. Jordan said we're gonna try hard, and they won 63-3. But Florida State only returns 4 offensive starters and 4 defensive starters. So again, lose a lot of production that they had last year. They had the 11th best recruiting class, which, shout out to them. Shout out to Mike Norvell. They stuck with him. A lot of people wanted him fired, and look at him now. And they had the 7th best when it comes to transfers, which they did have a lot of transfers. They got some good pieces. But again, I'm just off the DJ Ungulale train. They did lose Jordan Travis, 207, 324, 63.9 completion percentage, 2,756 yards, 20 tuds to 2 interceptions. I know we done had some trash QB touchdown to interception ratios. That's a great one. 10-1 is amazing. He's currently on the Jets, so shout out to him. Got to talk about my boy Keon Coleman, which I ain't gonna lie, I looked at his numbers and I was kind of surprised they were as low as they were. 50 catches, 658 yards, but 11 touchdowns is absolutely crazy. He's currently on the Bills. I hate it. Trade him. We're gonna move on to Trey Benson, running back. 156 carries, 905 yards, 5.8 a carry with 14 touchdowns. Currently on the Cardinals, so good luck to him. I'm gonna talk about 3 more players, and then I'm gonna probably let y'all go and come back. But I gotta talk about these 3 because I really like them. Jerry Verse, DN, lost him. 41 total tackles, 23 solo, 9 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Currently on the Rams. Braden Fisk, who in my opinion probably should have won ACC MVP, ACC Championship MVP. Let me correct that. Braden Fisk, D tackle, 43 total tackles, 17 solos, 6 sacks, also on the Rams. And you got Ronaldo Green, cornerback, who I was really high on the last 2 years. 43 total tackles, 32 solos, half a sack, 12 pass breakups, and a pick. Currently on the 49ers. Good luck to those 3. I'm going to let y'all take over and then clean up. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about one of their transfers who came from a highly known school, but he didn't get a lot of playing time, honestly.
I know where you're going with this.
On the defensive side.
Oh, no,
but
I don't.
I feel like he's going to get this.
Yes, I do.
I feel like he's going to get some playing time with Florida State now. And that's Sean Murphy from Alabama.
That's not where I thought you was going with that.
Yeah, Sean Murphy was mainly a special teamer. But they've given him a 92 overall rank. And he's like the sixth rated highest linebacker in the transfer portal this year. Just one of the reasons why they had a really good transfer portal class. I feel like he's going to show some really good talent with what he's going to be able to do with this Florida State team, who had a really good defense last year. Well, I mean, they had a really good overall team. They went undefeated last year, so of course that's what most people are going to look at. Cam Bradley, also another defensive guy that they got from transfer that came from Auburn, and Omarion Cooper from Colorado. I think all of these guys are going to help this Florida State defense out. As much as I hate Florida State, and I say hate for a reason, but I'm doing my best to be unbiased. I think they're going to be a really good football team this year, even though their quarterback situation is going to be a little different with DJ. I feel like this team is going to be good. I mean, they have a 7-ranked transfer 7-ranked transfer portal and 11-ranked recruiting class. So I think that's saying something.
Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, like you guys have been saying, even though this defense only returns 4 stars, I think it's going to be the strength of this team, especially with the cornerback tandem that they have and
Trail
Cypress and Azari Thomas, and bringing in Earl Little from Alabama can only help bolster that. They also have an experienced offensive line, bringing back 4 of the 5 starters last year. Even though they lost basically all of their skill players and everybody that came in the portal, they still have that core there that's going to be very important to helping DJ Uiagalelei, I guess, get comfortable in this new system on this new team. If they can keep him upright, maybe he won't make as many mistakes. But I mean, let's be real. He's not a world burner at quarterback. The guy, he makes error throws sometimes. He can hang on to the ball. I wouldn't say he's an NFL quarterback, to be honest with you, but I mean, I think he's a really good college quarterback, and I think he can help, a team like this go pretty far.
All right, so neither one of y'all brought up the transfer I thought y'all was going to bring up. And that's Marvin Jones Jr.
Marvin Jones. Yeah, I forgot about him.
The edge rusher from Georgia. Now, he's only had a sack and a forced fumble last year, but he's projected to be like one of the best edge rushers besides like maybe James Pierce Jr. in the country. So that was a huge get for Florida State. And I agree, Florida State's defense is going to be the strength of this team. But I also wanted to talk about Malik Benson, who transferred in from Bama. Now, the stats aren't that good. 13 catches, 162 yards on a tud. But he's going to step into that number one role because they lost Jaheim Bell, they lost Johnny Wilson, they lost Keon Coleman. So he's going to step in as the number one receiver. Jalen Lucas, who I really like the Indiana at running back. I think he's going to help fill the Trey Benson role. Jalen Lucas at Indiana had 67 carries, 275 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 34 catches for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. And a kickoff touchdown. Again, another guy that does it all. And he's a speedy guy. You get him in open space, he's going to beat you. They bring in Roydale Williams to match with Jalen Lucas. Roydale Williams transferring from Alabama. Running back, 111 carries, 560 yards, 5 a carry, and 5 touchdowns. They also, again, I'm going to just say his stats. DJ Uiagalelei, Oregon State quarterback last year, went 180 for 315. 57.1% completion percentage, 2,638 yards, 21 tuds, 7 picks. So not bad. Touchdown interception ratio 3-1. And he also added 6 rushing touchdowns. Some defensive players they do bring back. Patrick Payton returns at D tackle, 43 total tackles, 28 solos, 7 sacks, 9 pass breakups, which is crazy for a D tackle. He's getting his hands in the air and the passing lanes. He's knocking balls down. And he has 2 forced fumbles. Fentrell Cypress, like my guy Ace said, Fentrell Cypress, 40 total tackles, 28 solos, 7 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And they also bring back DJ Lundy at linebacker, 34 total tackles, 17 solos, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. So they do bring up some key pieces on the defense. They were 52nd in total offense, 28th in total defense, 19th in scoring offense, 18th in scoring defense, 76th in rushing, 70th rushing defense, 45th in passing, 11th in pass defense, 92nd on third down completion, third down percentage, and 6th in the country and getting off the field on third downs. So defense was really good last year as well. As you can see in the ACC championship game, they smothered Louisville to win the ACC championship. Rushing defense could be bolstered a little bit, but if we don't have anything else, let's get into the schedule.
Let's get into it.
So the first game this is a true neutral site game, by the way. All the way in Dublin. Last year was Navy versus Notre Dame. This year we get Florida State, Georgia Tech. I have this as a W for Florida State.
W.
Ace, what you think about that plus 13.5 for Georgia State though? Georgia Tech though. I'm thinking about taking it.
I think you wouldn't be. I think you wouldn't be wrong.
I'm thinking about taking it. All right, next we got BC. I have this as a W against Boston College.
W.
I have this as a W as well.
Next, now it took me a minute. I went back and forth with this game. Memphis brings back a lot. They will definitely be on my top teams, group of 5s to look out for. They bring back Seth Hannigan. They bring back that offense. I have Florida State winning this game, though. I went back and forth with it, but I have Florida State beating Memphis.
Yeah, I got Florida State winning this game, too.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about Memphis actually beating them. I do think the game would be competitive. But
I think if Memphis could turn that into a shootout, man, I don't know if I trust DJ Uiagalelei in the shootout. I don't know, because I know Memphis don't have a defense. Like, don't get me wrong, that defense.
I think it's gonna be one of those ones that's one in the trenches.
Yeah, and Florida State will definitely win that. Next, we have Cal, and as I said before, I have Florida State beating Cal.
Same.
Yes, sir.
And now here comes a slew of L's for your boy. At SMU, I have this as an L.
At SMU, I can definitely see it. I have it as a W for them. However, there is a red question mark beside it.
Yeah, I have this as a W too.
All right. Do y'all want me to explain or do y'all want me to keep it pushing?
No, you can.
All right. So versus Clemson.
I think SMU is going to be good, so I understand it.
Yeah. Versus Clemson, I have this as an L. I think Clemson won't do that to them.
I think this is an L as well.
Yeah, I already said that Florida State will win this. I'm not changing it.
All right. At Duke, again, I have this as an L. Yeah, I know y'all killed me for that one. So, yeah, I got y'all W.
Yeah, I have it as a W.
At Miami, I think Miami beats Florida State this year at Hard Rock. I have this as an L.
I have it as an L.
Too.
versus UNC. Now I think they bounce back after 1, 2, 3, 4 straight L's. I think they get the W against UNC.
W.
At Notre Dame, I have this as an L. Riley Leonard gets his revenge.
I think they can get Notre Dame. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, as a W.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you again. Most of
it is at Notre Dame though, but
yeah, that and DJ. Sorry, I know DJ had one of his best games ever at Clemson against Notre Dame, but I don't see that walking through the door.
Lightning strikes twice.
I don't think so. I think that's an
L.
And these are two teams I strongly dislike.
Charleston Southern, I have as a W.
W.
For sure, W.
I feel like that's brutal. They have Charles Southern play them so late in the season.
They normally do that. Last year they played Northern Alabama the second to last game of the season. That's when Jordan Travis got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, they played Florida to end the season. I went back and forth with this. I have them losing to Florida. If DJ Lagway and them receivers can get chemistry, and if DJ Lagway is actually as good as people think he or say he is, and if he also takes that job from Graham Mertz, because I think Graham Mertz is the projected starter right now. But if he takes that job and he's actually as good as people say he is, I think I got Florida winning that game.
I think that's very sound logic. I agree with you about DJ Lagway. I'm very interested to see what this kid can do, and I think that he has a ton of potential. That being said, it's an L for Florida.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about DJ Lagway from Florida because I knew that Mertz was going to be the starting quarterback, and I just figured that he would be the quarterback for the whole year. So I got that as an L for Florida, and Florida State wins.
So my whole thought process with the Graham Mertz situation is I think he's going to start because DJ's a true freshman. So they'll probably want him to gain the experience, sit behind him, and then eventually they'll turn the keys over to him, especially if Billy Napier starts hearing, like, hey, your job's on the line, bro. You better put him in the game because I don't think it's fully Billy Napier's fault how bad, or not bad, but how unsuccessful Florida has been. They've been playing tough schedules. They're not as good as they once were. This isn't yesteryear. He needs time to rebuild it. But he might be hearing that, hey, this Florida, you on that hot seat talk, it might turn it over to DJ.
I think he's definitely on the hot seat.
Yeah, so with that being said, I have Florida State going 6-6, 4-4 in ACC play.
I have them going 9-3.
Oof.
I have them going 10-2.
Dang, so I'm the only one super low on Florida State this year. My bad. Florida State, hey, man.
And 6-2 in ACC.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, Florida State.
I originally had that 10-2, but I went back and looked at that Notre Dame game and gave him an L for that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I think they take a slew of L's.
I think with Florida State, it's a team that is like,
it's DJ, bro. I'm sorry. It's mainly coming from DJ.
I get it.
Don't blame
get it, but I think they're a team that has like you play different when you've been there before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have a lot of that.
A lot of them haven't been there. A lot of them that's been there is gone.
I mean, yeah. Offensively, sure,
and defensively.
But I think there's still a lot of people that's stepping up from the years prior. Like they may not have been getting a ton of burn, but they were still around to see how things were.
That's
I think
true.
Culture matters.
That's true. But I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of it's DJ. If DJ can prove me wrong, then hey, more power to you. But until then, sorry.
Trust me, I'm not rooting for them. Believe me.
Yeah, of course, y'all not.
I hope they are 6-6.
If anything.
All right, we're gonna move on to I said Justin Key earlier, it's Brent Key. We're gonna move on to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech coming off a 6-6, 5-3 ACC season, which I would qualify that as successful. Won the Gasparilla Bowl 30-17 versus UCF, which shocked me. I'm not gonna lie. They returned 8 offensive starters, but only 4 on the defensive end. And like I said earlier, Haynes King is the quarterback that returns 226 for 367, 61.6 completion percentage, 2,842 yards, 27 tugs, which is phenomenal. But 16 picks. Again, he has to cut down on the turnovers. And on the ground, he did add 120 carries for 737 yards and 10 touchdowns. So a total of 37 touchdowns, but them 16 picks got to come down. Jamal Haynes at running back returns, 174 yards, 174 carries. I keep doing this. 1,059 yards, 7 touchdowns, averaging 6.1 a carry. Eric Singleton Jr. returns at receiver, 48 catches, 714 yards, 6 touchdowns. Malik Rutherford, 46 catches, 502 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They just returned a lot of production on that offensive end. They had the 51st ranked recruiting class, 66 in transfers. I'm gonna let Ace tell me something about Georgia Tech, and then go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, like you said, Haynes King, 37 total touchdowns last year. The guy can put the ball in the end zone. He can be exciting to watch play, but the turnovers, it's horrible. Jamal Haynes, first 1,000-yard rusher since 2017. He's coming back.
That's not Jameer. I don't think that's Jameer. Continue.
But I think, that's going to be good for them. The one thing that stands out to me about Georgia Tech is they don't have a star wide receiver. I think that's going to – I don't know who's going to emerge and come and be that guy to take the step forward. But I think that, they're still going to lean heavily on the run game. They were first in the ACC in rushing yards per game, first in sacks allowed as well. So that's speaking to the 4 to 5 offensive linemen that's coming back. The defense, though, worse in the ACC in third down stops. Don't really know what they're going to do with that. They also got to replace 17 of their 21 sacks last year. And they honestly do have a pretty tough schedule. It's not like it's going to be a cakewalk for them. I think that last year they kind of benefited from not having the hardest schedule in the world, especially towards the end of the year when everything kind of turned around for them when the interim coach came in. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not super crazy about Georgia Tech this year.
Yeah, I'm not super crazy. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I do like them, but I'm not super crazy about them. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, same here. I'm not that I'm not too high on Georgia Tech. I do kind of like what they did last year, though. This is the way that they played. I do have some. I'm not sure if you were going to do this, Carl, but I do have their team stats for last year. They averaged about 31 points per game last year. They had 51 total touchdowns. Third down efficiency was 43% on third down, 52% on fourth down. That's what's the Lions coach name? Dan Campbell-esque. Yeah, so it's Dan Campbell-esque. Only 220 yards passing per game. Of course, just Georgia Tech. We don't see them as a passing team, honestly.
Haynes King was going to walk around a little bit.
He was, but what I'm saying is the Georgia Tech is more so known for their run game.
Yeah, they're known for the option, which thank God they got that up out of here.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do this year with that. Total offense, about 425 yards per game. So definitely just want to see what changes is going to happen with Georgia Tech this year and how much better they'll be from last year.
All right, so I got some transfers. I got some losses. So at cornerback, they did return Amari Harvey, however, 31 tackles, 28 solo, 3 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. But they did lose Jalen King at cornerback, 67 total tackles, 38 solo, 9 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. So a lot of production loss in that secondary there. They did lose Kyle Kennard to my South Carolina Gamecocks, defensive end or edge rusher, however you want to classify it. 53 total tackles, 32 solos, 6 sacks, a pick, and 2 forced fumbles. Going over to my South Carolina boys, so shout out to them. Transfer. They did get a transfer in Romello Height out of USC on the edge to replace Kyle Kennard. 21 total tackles, 12 solos, and 4 sacks. Thomas Gore transfers in at D tackle, 8 total tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles from the U. They were the 34th total offense, 120th in total defense. I think this is 42nd in scoring offense, but it could also be 12th, but I think it's 42nd. It is 42nd. 94th in scoring defense, 12th in rushing, 128th in rush defense, 66th in passing, 53rd in passing defense, 39th on third down percentage on offense, but 105th in getting off the field on third down percent on defense. So, again, that defense had let them down a little bit last year, actually a lot of bit. Offensively, they're pretty good. Again, King just can't turn the rock over. If y'all have any other notes, we can move on to the schedule.
Let's get it.
So Georgia Tech, again, we just talked about this. The FSU game, we have it as an L.
L.
Georgia State, however, I have it as a W.
Yes, sir. W.
Syracuse, at Syracuse, I have this as a W.
The W.
W.
Virginia Military Institution, I have as a W, VMI.
W.
W.
Then at Louisville, after a classic last year to start the season, I believe a fourth down play killed them in that game. I have this as an L against Louisville.
L.
I have them losing at Louisville.
Then we move on to Duke, which I have them beating Duke.
I said previously I have them losing.
Yeah, I think I did too.
All right. Then we have at UNC, which I have them beating North Carolina. So I have them beating two of the North Carolina schools so far.
Yeah, I have them winning against North Carolina as well.
Same.
Then I have them losing at home versus Notre Dame.
I actually have them losing out from here.
Oh, I have one win in between this, and I don't know why. I don't know how. I think Coach Key gets them motivated for this win to get a bowl game.
And who
Yeah, I got the losing out too.
So my one win in this tough schedule of Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Miami, NC State, and Georgia is not Georgia. It's NC State. I think that against NC State, Key gets them motivated at home to get that bowl win.
Game too?
Yeah, I think Key gets them motivated for that win.
Always those weekday ones.
Huh?
It's always those weekday games.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they sneak up on NC State. NC State might be ranked, might not. Got to look at my schedule, but I think Georgia Tech just takes that win, man. If Haynes King can cut down the turnovers, because NC State is going to be a really good defensive team. If he could cut down on the turnovers, move the rock, I think he gets them their 6th win. So I have Georgia Tech going 6-6, 4-4 in ACC play.
5-7 for me.
Yeah, I have them going 4-8 and 1-7 in the ACC play.
Oof.
Dang.
Tough crowd.
They won some games that they should not have won last season.
Miami.
I'm not saying just us.
That was the major one.
That's a clear major one. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was the major one. But I just think things are going to be different. I don't think they're going to sneak up on anybody this year, and I think there's tape on them. So
it's true. I didn't think they really snuck up on anybody last year, to be completely honest. Because
I think the way they play snuck up on people. Like it felt like once the interim coach kind of got in, they played harder. They had a different kind of fire that wasn't previously there.
But they ended the season before Key had a full season last year pretty well. Now, the difference is I don't think people thought Haynes King was going to be as good as he was minus the turnovers. Nah, that I can say snuck up on me. But other than that, they kind of played like they did to end the season.
We'll see.
All right. We're going to move on to Louisville. Louisville coming off of a 10-2, 7-1 season, lost the ACC championship again, like I said, to Florida State. They then lose the Holiday Bowl to Miller Moss and USC, 42-28. They returned 5 offensive starters, 9 defensive starters on a pretty solid defensive team Louisville had last year. They lose. Oh, wait, before I do that, they had where are you at? 38th recruiting class, 14th in transfer. So Jeff Brom getting it done yet again. The list of players that they lost go on and on. They lost Jack Plummer, who, again, turnovers. Jack Plummer, 256 to 395, 3,204 yards, 64.8% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns to 12 picks. He's currently on the Panthers. One thing I used to say about Jack Plummer was he's going to throw you that 4th quarter pick. You just got to catch it. And more times than not, he threw it. Jawar Jordan, the home run hitter, running back himself, 181 carries, 1,128 yards, 6.2 a carry, 13 touchdowns, 21 catches, 246 yards for another touchdown. Currently on the Texans, and I believe I'm hearing great things out of Jawar Jordan in Houston. Isaac Garendo, lost him, running back, the backup, 132 carries, 810 yards, 6.1 a carry, 11 touchdowns, currently on the 49ers. Lost Jamari Thrash, wide receiver, 63 catches, 858 yards, 6 touchdowns, currently on the Browns, which is ugly. And they lost Amari Huggins Bruce, currently on South Carolina. Wide receiver, 20 catches, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. They returned Chris Bell at wide receiver. He's looking to be the league. Oh, he's not the league guy, excuse me, the transfer guy. I'll get into that later. 29 catches, 407 yards, 2 tuds. TJ Quinn returns at linebacker with 91 total tackles, 33 solos, half a sack, 2 pass breakups, and a pick. Devin Neal returns at safety, not the Devin Neal from Kansas. 74 total tackles, 47 solos, 6 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. Ashton Gillette returns at DN, 45 total tackles, 23 solos, 11 sacks. So that's a lot of sacks coming back. And 3 forced fumbles, an animal. And last but certainly not least, we have Mason Rager coming back with 22 total tackles, 14 solos, 5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Dave, talk about Louisville.
Louisville last year, 7-1 in the ACC play, went 10-4, 6-1 at home, 2-1 away. Man, they were one of the surprising teams to me in the ACC last year.
With you,
definitely wasn't expecting them to play that good. Although they did lose the last 3 games, they went on a 3-game losing streak at the end of the season. But I mean, like I said, this was a really surprising team last year. They had, what am I looking at? 30, scoring 30 points per game last year. Only allowing about 20, 21, 22 points on defense last year. They had a total of 292 first downs last year, almost 3,000 yards on the ground last year as a team, which is great. 3,000 passing yards altogether as a team. So this offense is a high power offense. It didn't exactly remind me of the time when they had Lamar Jackson on this offense, but it was definitely close because of how high powered this offense was. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are actually the same way this season coming up. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Louisville is one of the teams in ACC that outside of Miami that I actually root for, and I actually want to see them play really well. So I want to see what Louisville does this year.
I actually root for Louisville too. No funny. Ever since Teddy Bridgewater, I kind of had a soft spot in my heart for Louisville. Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah. Louisville has burned this too many times for me to ever root for them.
Dude, hey, look, I can feel that, especially last year. Y'all lost a shootout last year. I can feel that.
Man, we definitely should have had that game.
Yeah, I think Louisville, the number one question that I have with them, will Tyler Shaw be healthy?
I'll take it a step further. Even if he's healthy, will Tyler Shaw be good?
Yeah, another layer to the problem. On top of the fact that they lack depth at wide receiver position. I know they tried to bolster their O-line through transfers, and they have a new running back room. I mean, they brought in Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama. They got Donald Chaney in there. So they do have weapons, and I think they have a pretty experienced tight end room as well.
Mark Redmond from San Diego State. I like him a lot.
Yeah. I think yes, they did shock a lot of people last year, but I think that was also just last year. I'm not too sure if this offense is going to. I don't know if they're going to control the time of possession like they did last year, especially losing the running backs that they did. They were like a thunder and lightning kind of situation going on. I'm not sure if they'll have that again this year. One thing for sure is they did have a great defense last year. I wonder if that will continue. Number 1 in the ACC in run defense. They were number 1 in the nation in red zone defense and 21st overall in defense, period. So they have a deep group at corner led by Quincy Riley. Their D-line also lacks depth, but I think aside from the questions on their line, I think Louisville will be a decent team. They're definitely good enough to hang in some games. Now, which way they go, it's kind of up in the air.
Look, I ain't gonna lie, I'm high on Louisville. I'm super high on Louisville. Sorry, I'm not even going to hold y'all. I'm high on Louisville. Here's some reasons why. Besides Tyler Shuck, if Jeff Brom could do what he did with Jack Plummer to Tyler Shuck, I hope Louisville's gonna be all right. But like you said, Mark Redmond, one of the better tight ends in the country, San Diego State. Colin Lacey is the transfer I'm looking at out of South Alabama. Amazing year at South Alabama last year. 91 catches, 1,316 yards, 7 touchdowns at wide receiver. That's a lot of production he's bringing. Again, with Chris Bell coming back to step up as the number 2 receiver. I'm excited to see what that tandem does. The running backs like Ja'Cory Brooks and Donald Chaney, again, great pickups. Also, if Penny Boone could have just stayed, man, I know he transferred, then he left again. He went to Maryland. Sucks. I wish he would have stayed. Penny Boone with that receiving core and Tyler Shuck would have been nasty, but that's just how the business of college football goes. 41st in total offense, 21st in total defense, 43rd in scoring offense, 33rd in scoring defense, 37th in rushing, 9th in rushing defense, 56th in passing, 57th in pass defense, 81st in third down percentage, and 10th on getting off the field on third downs percentage. Defense was, I said solid. I said they were really good last year. I didn't want to say it, but I have to say it. They were really good last year defensively. I think defensively was the reason why they beat Notre Dame. They made Sam Hartman look bad. So I'm high on Louisville. If y'all want to get to these schedules, we can get to these schedules.
Let's get to it.
So, first game of the season, they start off with Austin P. W. All right, then they start off with then next is my beloved Jack State Gamecocks, man, but that's a W.
Yeah. Sorry, Rich Rod.
Sorry, Brad. Then we move on to Georgia Tech. I previously stated that Louisville beats Georgia Tech.
Louisville beats Georgia Tech.
Now, I think Notre Dame gets some revenge here. I think Notre Dame beats Louisville.
So why?
It's at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame gets the dub. Then we move on to SMU. I think they beat SMU.
Yeah, I do too.
I think they beat SMU as well, but I think it's because they're home.
I did factor that in a lot, to be honest. We move on to at UVA, which I do have this as a W against UVA.
W.
Then at Miami. No, excuse me. At home against Miami. I have this as a W. I figured y'all are going to disagree with me, but I have Louisville beating y'all.
Yeah, of course I disagree. I feel like this is a revenge game for us. I feel like we're going to come back and especially what we have. Can't wait till we talk about us. But
yeah, sure. I'll talk about that in depth when we get to y'all. At Boston College, I have this as a W.
I have it as a W.
Yeah, me too. W.
At Clemson, I have this as the lone ACCL.
I agree. I have losing to Clemson.
I have this as also have this as an L.
All right, and I have them winning the last 3 at Stanford versus Pitt and at Kentucky. Any disagreements?
Nothing.
You have them losing at Kentucky?
Yes.
Not mad at that. But I talked to you about Kentucky quarterback, right? How they have a type. And now I forgot his name. Jesus. Who they just recruit at quarterback? I gotta look it up. But I don't like Kentucky's quarterback recruit. And I can't think of it.
I did think about that when I was making my decision. I'm like, yeah, but whoever their quarterback.
Gavin Wimsatt?
Yes, Gavin. I didn't like the fact that he's recruited over there. Now I don't know who's going to start between him and Brock Vandegrift, but either way, I don't like it. I'm gonna just take Louisville. Sorry.
I can admit I was probably hating for real.
Hey, look, do your thing, bro. So I got Louisville going 10-2, 7-1 in the ACC.
I have them going 8-4, 6-3 in the ACC.
I have them 9-3.
All right, we move on from Louisville to Dave. You couldn't wait. Here it is. The University of Miami, coming off of a 7-5, 3-5 season. They did lose the Pinstripe Bowl to Cal Monongai and Rutgers, 31-24. I literally said it like that because it was mostly Cal Monongai. They returned 6 starters on offense, 6 on defense, but I think Miami has a healthy blend of starters, transfers, and guys stepping up. So I don't really think that's an issue. They return Xavier Restrepo at receiver, 95 catches, 1,092 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jacoby George, 57 catches, 864 yards, 8 touchdowns. Wesley Byzantine, return, and I think I still butchered it. Returns at middle linebacker, 44 total tackles, 25 solos, and 2 sacks. You said Bizanti?
Yeah, Basante.
Oh, Basante. My bad. Francisco Malgua returns at middle linebacker as well. 82 total tackles, 48 solos, 7.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, a pick, and 2 forced fumbles. I got some losses, which I don't even think y'all will consider this first one a loss, but they did lose Tyler Van Dyke, 219 to 333, 65.8% completion percentage, 2,703 yards, 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's now at the University of Wisconsin. Kobe Young, now at University of Georgia, had 47 catches, 563 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
That's a loss.
That's, for sure a loss.
Mm-hmm.
This was another loss. Cam Kitchens, safety, 59 total tackles, 40 solos, a sack, 5 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, and a touchdown. Currently on the Rams. The Rams drafted freaking tremendously. Henry Parrish, 100 carries, 625 yards, 6.3 a carry, and 6 touchdowns. The running back, he's now gone. But 6th overall recruiting class, 10th in transfers. Oh, y'all lost. My bad. One more. To Corey Couch, cornerback, 38 tackles, 23 solos, a sack, 4 pass breakups, and 3 picks, and a forced fumble. Is currently on the Bills. But I'm going to start off with Dave. Go ahead and tell me about the U.
The U, man. We have the number 1 recruiting class in the ACC. So definitely excited about that. Definitely want to talk about some of these guys that came in from the recruiting class along with the transfers. The 2 most known transfers, of course, are Damian Martinez and Cam Ward. I think those 2 are going to electrify this offense. But I feel like this defense is definitely going to be really good, too, because of the guys we have coming in from this class. Justin Scott from Chicago, a 5-star recruit. Marquise Lightfoot, also from Chicago, another guy is a 5-star recruit. Armando Blount, guy from Miami Central. He was a dog in high school. 5-star recruit. Josiah Trader is another wide receiver from Chaminade. People know Chaminade because they got Ohio State got the other guy that was across from him, who we almost had, but he went to Ohio State instead. This guy, he's only 6.5 feet, but he's a speedster. He's a really good guy. Booker Pickett, edge from Tampa, Florida. And then we got another guy named Ncaaf. He's a wide receiver from Georgia as well. I thought this recruiting class, dog, the scouting that's been done for this year for us has been the best I've seen in a long time. I really feel like our head coach is doing what he does best. And actually, we're going into Florida and getting the guys that we need from Florida, something that we got away from for a long time.
Former player.
And it's really good to see. I'm interested to see exactly how well it's going to mesh this year because there's a lot of brand new players. I believe we have a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this season. So I'm excited.
Ace.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think our offensive line should be terrific this year. A lot of young guys who are just only going to get better with the experience that they're going to gain from playing this season. Obviously, the transfer portal has helped us tremendously. Cam Ward, Damian Martinez. You can even add Sam Brown in there, another speedster that can add to our receiving core. On top of the recruiting, JoJo Trader from Chaminade, like he was saying, we still have a dynamic duo at 2 players at end in Ruben Bain and Akeem Messidor. I think those 2 are really going to shine this year. Ruben Bain coming off an All-American freshman year. I can't remember his name right now, but
transfer currently on the team.
No, the linebacker Malanoga, I think is his name.
Francisco.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a great season as well as his brother on the offensive line. I think the keys for our season will be just reducing turnovers, reducing sacks, and not making bonehead coaching mistakes.
All right, so 2 transfers I have added on my list that y'all didn't bring up. I have Tyler Barron. He transferred in from Louisville. He transferred in from Louisville. He went to Tennessee first. Then I think he transferred to Louisville. And then from Louisville, he went to Miami or something like that. It was somewhere like that. He transferred twice this season. He had 28 total tackles, 16 solos, 2 pass breakups, and 6 sacks. Then Simeon Barrow from my beloved MSU on the D line, he transfers in. He had 36 total tackles, 14 solos, 3.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. So those are 2 key pickups for y'all. Now I want to talk a little bit about Cam Ward before we go into the schedule. I love Cam Ward, but Cam Ward does have a tendency to ball out of control in the first part of the season. Then he stumbles into mediocrity throughout the middle of the season. And then he might rebound and go back to greatness or really balling again towards the end of the season. I want to see that stop. I just want to see consistent levels of balling, which I think he can at Miami with the talent y'all have at receiver. Not to say he didn't have talent at receiver at Washington State, because he definitely did with Kyle Williams and the guys. But I don't think he had the amount of talent he has in that backfield like he does at Miami this year. So with Damian Martinez, the U last year was 31st in total offense, 24th in total defense, 38th in scoring offense, tied 42nd in scoring defense, 44th in rushing, 11th in rush defense, 42nd in passing, 55th in passing defense, 52nd on third down percentage, and 37th for getting off the field on third down percentage on defense. Any other notes before we go into the schedule?
Nope, hit it off.
Let's go. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna rattle off the teams. I have Miami going 11-1, 7-1. The only loss I have is at Louisville.
I also have us going 11-1, but I have us. I think the one game we lose is. Go ahead. I can't. I'm looking at my notes I have on my phone. Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, I have them going undefeated.
Undefeated?
Hold on.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I think we catch a. I think we catch a. I think that South Florida game is a game that.
I was going to put that as an L. I was going to put that as an L.
At South Florida, I can definitely see that being.
I swear I was thinking about that.
There's no clear-cut losses on this schedule for me.
I was thinking about it.
I just feel like that game. I feel like that game catches us off guard.
This is for A saying that they're going undefeated.
I love it.
Go ahead.
I got you going 11-1. I just don't see undefeated.
I hope Ace is right. So
if y'all go undefeated, y'all gonna be in them playoffs. But
we go 11-1.
Even if we lose in the ACC championship, we still in the playoff.
Yeah, because
it depends on how we do it.
Yeah, I think it's top 6 teams that's not the champ gets in, so y'all should still be within the
still would.
Yeah.
I think if we go 11-1 and win the ACC championship game, we in playoffs.
Yeah, about that. We're gonna move.
I already know where you're going with this.
So I mean, to be honest, I am high on y'all. 11-1. Only lost to again Louisville, which I think that might come back to bite y'all. I was going to give y'all that USFL because again, the USF will be in my top 10 teams to look out for in the Group of 5 conference. One of my sleeper teams this year, but I just don't think they have enough. And I don't think they're good enough defensively to stop y'all. So I think offensively, if y'all could get rolling, I think that y'all beat USF. USF doesn't want to make that a shootout, which I think y'all can put up points against them.
You better be.
So I just feel like that's a game that may catch us off guard.
No, I feel you. I don't think that'll catch you off guard, though. I don't think Mario Cristobal is sleeping on USF.
No.
I hope he ain't sleeping at all like he did against freaking Georgia Tech.
That was crazy. That was crazy. But also with USF playing Bama and they play, I forgot the other one. I want to say it's Kentucky, but I'm not sure. They do have 2 Power 5 schools to play as well. And if they played Bama close again, I think Mario Cristobal is not going to take them lightly. All right, but that's the U. We're all 3 high on the U. Obviously, y'all expected them to be high on the U. I honestly think that they came in here thinking I was going to, bad mouth the U and they were going to have to defend the U. Nah.
It would be different if it was tied. If it was tied, then we would expect him to say we're going to go 0-12.
I see the Ace face. He did think I was going to come in and kind of talk crazy.
I was waiting.
I told you. I knew it. Nah, I'm actually high on this year.
Not me. I know me and you would talk about the U a lot in the off season, so I figured you'd be higher on us than you were from last season.
Yeah. Hey, look, y'all did not fumble that third down where y'all said to just need the ball. I would have predicted y'all schedule correctly. I said 8-4. Y'all went 7-5.
Yeah.
So
that was just a stupid call.
Yeah, I'm pissed off about it. We're going to move on to North Carolina. North Carolina, they're coming off an 8-4, 4-4 season under Drake May. lost the Duke's Mayo Bowl to West Virginia 30-10. Drake May did not play in that. They returned 4 offensive starters and 7 defensive starters. One of the main starters that come back are Marion Hampton, who should be in the running for the Doak Walker with Ollie Gordon. Marion Hampton, running back, 253 carries, 1,504 yards, 5.9 average a carry, 15 touchdowns, 26 catches, 222 yards for a tud. Bring back J.J. Jones, wide receiver, 46 catches, 711 yards for 3 touchdowns. They bring back Nate McCollum, wide receiver, 44 catches, 469 yards, and a tud. They bring back Power Eccles, linebacker, 102 total tackles, 60 solos, pass breakup, an interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Elijah Hussey returns back at safety, 42 tackles, 30 solos, 6 pass breakups, and 3 picks. Cayman Rucker returns at DN, 61 total tackles, 34 solos, 8. No, I think this is not. No, this is 8.5 sacks, pass breakup, and a forced fumble. They had the 32nd overall recruiting class, 39th in transfers. I talked about losing Drake May. He's on the Pats. They lost Tez Walker, wide receiver, on the Ravens, which I think people want to sleep on him. On the Ravens, he had 41 catches, 698 yards, 7 touchdowns. Did not play a full season due to the whole they weren't letting him transfer thing. They finally let him play, and he scorched the U. Sorry to say that. I think that was his first game back, and he scorched y'all. I'm sorry.
Horrible.
Lost the backup running back, British Brooks, and they lost Cedric Gray, 121 total tackles, 64 solos, 5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Currently on the Titans, and British Brooks on the Texans. I think I went with Dave first. Ace, give me something about North Carolina.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I think Marion Hampton is a special player. I do not trust Max Johnson. I do not know how they will replace Drake May with him. I think their O-line is great in the run game, but horrible in pass protection, and I think that's a factor that's going to lead to them not being that great this season. I know the defense returned 7 starters, but still a bad defense.
Yeah.
New defensive coordinator Jeff Jeff Collins. He may make them more aggressive, but I don't think it's going to really translate into more W's.
All right. So what's crazy is I agree with what you said, which makes my last statement earlier about trusting Max Johnson to be Duke look kind of crazy, but I just trust him to win that game. I don't trust him for a season. And so, again, when you look at him as a replacement for Drake May, it's like, I don't know what the thought process is, but Mac Brown is a solidified coach. He's he is who he is at this point. And especially, I can't remember the backup name they have right now, but he played. I know his last name is Harold. I don't think he played too bad in that Duke's Mayo Bowl. I know he made some questionable mistakes, but I thought they had something to build with him there.
I do think that
I think it's Colin Harold. My bad.
Despite what I think about North Carolina, I think they can stumble into 7 to 8 wins, though.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I do feel like they can stumble to 7 wins this year. They had some okayish transfers that came in this year. I know Jakiah Leftwich is an offensive tackle, came from Georgia Tech. Another guy, Austin Blast, they got from Georgia, is an offensive tackle. Jake Johnson is their highest ranked transfer from Texas A&M. He's a tight end.
Max Johnson.
Their recruiting class is 27th overall nationally, which is not bad, but not.
I got 32nd. Oh, the composite.
Yeah, composite 27th overall. 4th in the ACC. I just want to see what the quarterback's going to do. With Drake May gone, how is he going to step up and help this team get better, or are they going to be worse? I'm just figuring out what's going to happen with that, with their offense this year. Not really thinking about their defense because their defense has never really been that good. So just want to see what their offense is going to do.
Yeah, so his name was Connor Harrell, so I was close, and it's Jeff Collins. You are correct. Yeah, Connor Harrell. I thought they had something to build with. I remember funny, just real quick. I remember watching the Duke's Mail Bowl, and it's like, yeah, Connor Harrell, he's looking to start, and he's kind of a talented guy. So I'm thinking it's a white guy because Connor Harrell kind of sounds like a white name. Black dude showed up, started running on the field. I was like, oh, okay, I see you. But they went Max Johnson route. I'm interested to see what Max Johnson does too, because this is his third school, and I think it's like his last opportunity. And his brother has followed him everywhere, I believe. I think his brother was at LSU with him. I know for a fact his brother was at Texas A&M with him, and I know for a fact he's at UNC with him. But no. Sorry. Got another transfer here. Darwin Barlow transfers in, the running back from USC. Slight numbers, but he's looking just basically the backup of Marion Hampton. 8 carries for 81 yards, 10.1 average and a TUD, which, I mean, solid, but small sample size. They were 94th in total defense, 7th in total offense, 20th in scoring offense, 72nd in scoring defense, 19th in rushing offense, 90th in rushing defense, 14th in passing offense, 94th in passing defense, 9th on third down conversion percentage, and 60th in third down conversion percentage on defense. So again, like we all been saying, offensively they were really nice, but defensively they let them down every time. Except that Clemson game. Clemson had the boy Drake May was in hell in that game. But if y'all are cool, we can go with the schedule.
Let's go.
So first game, we got the home with Minnesota. I actually have them losing to Minnesota. I think that defense turns Mac Johnson over, and his debut looks kind of bad.
Yep, I agree. I think Minnesota wins that game.
I actually agree with you both. I think being at Minnesota on a Thursday night opening the season, I think they may have a tough time there, especially getting everything started.
Yep. So we're going to move on to Charlotte. I have that as a W. Charlotte was like one of the worst teams in the country last year.
W.
We move on to North Carolina Central. I have that as a W. Move on to JMU, and it hurt, but I gave them the W against JMU. It hurt.
Yeah, I know how you feel about JMU.
Yeah. I share your exact sentiments. I did not want to give them this win, and I hope they don't get it, but I'll give it to them.
Yep, and then we move on to at Duke again. As y'all know, I'm the only one to take this one. I gave them a W.
L.
Yep, L.
Then we move on to Pitt, which I think they take the W against Pitt.
I think yeah.
Move on to Georgia Tech. I think they take the L to Georgia Tech.
L.
Yes, L to Georgia Tech.
Move on to at Virginia. I think they get their revenge game. Virginia snuck up on them last year. I don't see them doing that again. I have this as a W.
W.
Yes, W for North Carolina.
At Florida State, I have this as an L, as previously mentioned.
L.
Yes, L.
Versus Wake Forest, I have this as a W.
W.
At Boston College, I actually have this as an L.
I have them beating Boston College.
I can't remember. I think I had them. I think I had them beating from Boston College.
Yeah, I know my thought process was Thomas Castellanos in his leg and them not being able to stop the run. And lastly, I have them losing the rivalry game against North Carolina State.
Absolutely.
So I have North Carolina going 7-5, 4-4 in conference. Pretty similar record to last year.
Yeah, I have the exact same record, 7-5, 4-4.
We all have the same.
7-5. Yeah, that's why when y'all kept saying 7 wins, I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that. I had 7 wins. So we're going to move on to
7 exactly.
We're going to move on to North Carolina State. North Carolina State coming off a 9-3, 6-2 season. I know that surprised me. I'm not going to lie. They lost the Pop-Tart Bowl to Kansas State 28-19. They returned 5 starters on offense and 5 on defense. They lost my boy Brennan Armstrong, which actually might have been a good loss at this point. He did not look well last year, in my opinion. 160 and 262, which I will say he did look good after bouncing. He looked better after getting the bench and bouncing back. 61.1% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, 7 picks is not great. What is going on? What did I write here? 1,785 yards throwing on the ground. As you know, Brendan Armstrong is a dual threat. 143 carries, 665 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They lost MJ Morris. He went out. He went to Maryland. 63 of 113, 719 yards, 55.8% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to 5 picks. Lost Peyton Wilson. Hate it. I hate where he went. 138 total tackles, 69 solos, 6 sacks, 6 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. Oh my God, I'm so mad I got him. But they do return Kevin Concepcion.
They're doing great in training camp, by the way. Very instinctual.
Shut up. I'm so mad. I stole him, bro. That pissed me off. Kevin Concepcion returns at wide receiver, the phenomenal freshman last year. He comes back with 71 catches, 839 yards, and 10 touchdowns, 41 carries, 320 yards. Kendrick Raphael, the running back, returns with 41 carries, 320 yards, so not much there. Running back Red Hibbler comes back at DN with 13 total tackles, 9 solos, 6.5 sacks, pass breakup, and 2 forced fumbles. Davin Van returns at DN with 42 total tackles, 17 solos, 5.5 sacks, pass breakup, and a forced fumble. So getting them hands up in them passing lanes. Devin Boykin returns at safety with 54 total tackles, 22 solos, a pass breakup, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. And Sean Brown returns back at linebacker, 66 total tackles, 37 solos, 2 sacks, 5 pass breakups, and 2 picks, and a forced fumble. NC State bolsters the 27th overall recruiting class and 18th in transfers. I talked about Jordan Waters earlier from the Duke thing going to NC State. I think I started with Ace last time, so we're on to Dave again.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about NC State. Other than I agree with you about last year. I feel like it's kind of like their basketball team. It surprised me. Wasn't expecting them to be what they were last year. But maybe it's me. I don't expect them to be as good as last year, but close enough.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, I think NC State is going to take a step forward this year. I think they're going to be an exciting team to watch. I think Grayson McCall is going to bring a dynamic element to their offense, along with Jordan Waters and Kevin Concepcion. I mean, I think those 3 players will definitely be carrying the load for them as far as explosive plays. Another team that has 4 returning offensive linemen, and they have Zeke Correll, a Notre Dame transfer, who's probably going to be stepping into the center role for them. I'm pretty high on NC State. I'm not going to lie. This is a defense that's been top 3 in points allowed in the ACC since 2021. You know, they have certain things that they do well consistently, and I think they're just going to build upon that.
Yeah, I'm with Ace. I'm actually really high on NC State as well. You hit the nail on the head with Grayson McCall, a better Brennan Armstrong, a guy who can use his legs to throw the ball. Grayson McCall, 151, 224, 67.4 completion percentage, 19 yards or 1,919 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks for Coastal. Also bringing Justin Jolly, a nice little security blanket, 56 catches, 578 yards, and 2 touchdowns from UConn. So that's a nice security blanket there. And they bring in Wesley Grimes, a transfer receiver from Wake Forest, 20 catches, 339 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They were 91st in total offense. And again, this offense was kind of bad. It was basically Kevin Concepcion or bust. 29th in total defense, 74th in scoring offense, 24th in scoring defense, 66th in the rushing attack, 23rd in rushing defense, 100th in passing, but 52nd in pass defense, 59th on third down conversion percentages, but 3rd in the country and third down percentages getting off the field. Again, like Ace said, defensively, NC State has been really, really good. Any other notes before we get into the schedule?
I did want to talk about a couple of their transfers that came in other than Grayson McCall. Justin Jolly came over from UConn, tight end, 6'4", 215. Then they had they got two. I know y'all mentioned Wesley Grimes, but they got Noah Rogers from Ohio State as well.
Yeah, but he's more. I don't think he got any burn for real. So yeah, he's coming from Ohio State, but
he might. I'm thinking he may get a little bit more burn this year.
Oh, he's gonna play. We're gonna see what he's gonna do.
He's definitely one of the higher rated transfers for sure.
Yeah, they gave him a 90 rating overall. As far as the transfer this year, so I want to see what he does.
Yeah, we're going to see. Kevin Concepcion definitely needs some help in that receiving core. Any other notes before we move on to the schedule? All right, so Western Carolina, we can all agree that's a W, correct?
Yep.
Now, Tennessee, at first, when I seen the Tennessee neutral site game at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, which is crazy. That's not neutral site at all. No. I gave it an L, but I was like, yeah, Tennessee going to beat the brakes off it. But then I thought about it. I still have it as an L, but I think it's a close game. I think that can go either way.
I feel the exact same way about it. I have it as an L just based off of the SEC bump stereotype, but yeah, I think NC State can probably hang with them for sure.
Yeah, if they can get to Nico Iamaleava, and he's not a freshman anymore, he's technically a sophomore, but I think he's
but we still haven't seen very much of him on the field.
Yeah, he played one game, and granted, I think it was against Iowa, but Iowa don't score, so it was no pressure. Like if I don't score, they're not going to score. So, and then he had 3 touchdowns, but they were all on the ground.
Yeah, I have this as an L too, but I feel like this game could very well go either way.
Yeah, and one last point before we go to the next game. I also think that Tennessee might be leaning heavily on the run game, which NC State really does a good job of stopping. So that could definitely turn the ball game on its head. But we'll move on to Louisiana Tech, and I have Louisiana Tech. I have a W against Louisiana Tech.
W.
I have a W.
We're moving on to at Clemson, where I have Clemson taking the W. This is an L for NC State.
I agree.
Northern Illinois, I have as a W.
W.
I basically have them winning out from here.
I was just about to say, I have them winning out. The only game I have as a surprise, like I said, was the Georgia Tech game. I think Brent Key can motivate his guys to get that last bowl. But other than that, I have them winning out.
Right.
Yeah, I think I have them losing to Kyle, Stanford, and Georgia Tech.
Stanford? Oh, you got to explain Stanford. You have to explain Stanford.
Don't stand on it.
You have to explain that one.
You can still take it back.
Yeah, I would definitely take that one back. Stanford.
I think I was just basing off of
it. Just pulled like I said. Why do I have this as a W like I did with Duke?
I was mainly just basing it off of. I was mainly basing it off of just the status of Stanford, period, not necessarily last year and because I didn't really. I ain't really take a deep dive into this game.
They ain't got Nathan but one player.
Alec Iominer. I just don't see it. I mean, if you're
right, then I could change that, honestly. I really can.
I still don't even see the Cal W either, to be honest with you. But I was more so gung-ho on Stanford. But I mean, so I got NC State with the same exact record, 9-3, 6-2 in conference play. Ace, what's your record?
I had them 10-2, 7-1.
Because you don't have the Georgia Tech L. And then Dave, what you got?
Yeah, I have 8-4.
Okay. So yeah, we're all high. Well, some more than others on NC State. I'm not even mad at 10 wins because I could definitely see 10 wins. I can see them beating Tennessee, to be honest. I can see them with 11. I can see them going 11-1. Sure. Yeah, so I'm not mad at 10-2. Dave, if you'd have stuck with 7-5 because they lost to Stanford, I might have had to talk to you after the show.
Nah.
But I can see NC State going 11-1. I could definitely see that being a possibility. But I'm gonna stick with my 9-3, 6-2.
I don't think they win any less than 8 games.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to Pitt. Sorry, Narduzzi, former MSU guy, but I am not high on you guys. I had y'all going 9-3 last year. They coming off a 3-9, 2-6 season. It was down bad for Pitt. They returned 7 offensive starters, 5 defensive starters. Rodney Hammond Jr., the running back, excuse me. He returns 118 carries, 547 yards, 4.6 a carry for 4 touchdowns. Kanata Mumfield returns wide receiver, 44 catches, 576 yards, 5 touchdowns. Gavin Bartholomew, 18 catches, 326 yards, and a tud for the tight end. Donovan McMillan returns at safety with 105 tackles, 54 solos, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble. Phillip O'Brien Jr. returns at cornerback, 41 tackles, 24 solos, 2 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. This is technically a loss, but some people wouldn't look at it as a loss. Christian Velux is now gone from Pitt. He went 94 of 184, 1,179 yards, 51.1% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to 8 picks. He's transferred to Georgia State. Bub Means, one of my favorite players on this offense last year. He has now gone to the NFL, 41 catches, 721 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's on the Saints. MJ Devonshire, 32 total tackles, 18 solos, 10 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, is now gone. Cornerback currently on the Raiders. Devon McIntyre, another safety, excuse me. He returned 85 total tackles, 43 solos, and 7 pass breakups. But they do lose Shane Simon, linebacker, currently on the Bills, 48 total tackles, 24 solos, 5 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. Lost AJ Woods, 30 tackles, 15 solos, 2 sacks, 3 PBUs, 1 interception. Cornerback for the Commanders. I literally only threw that in there because I went to the Commanders. They have the 56th overall recruiting class, 50th in transfers. I think I started with Ace, so I'm gonna start with you, Dave. Give me something about Pitt.
I was trying to look for my freaking mute button. Pitt. Every time I think about Pitt, I think about Kenny Pickett when he was there just 2 years ago.
Hey, lost that New Year's Six Bowl to Michigan State, so I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I know you're not mad at that.
Jordan Addison cooked us.
I feel like they're gonna be a mediocre team. Honestly, I don't really see too much from Pitt for real. I'm not high on them at all. That's pretty much what I got to say about them. I was looking at their transfer class, and they got a guy Eli from Alabama. That don't seem too impressive for me. So,
Ace.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I'm not too high on Pitt either. I know that they're getting a new offensive coordinator, Cade Bell from Western Carolina. And apparently his offenses were very dynamic in the FCS. If he can help a team that was last in scoring in total offense, third down conversions, and rushing last season, I mean, to be honest, I don't think you got to do much to help that. But whoever the quarterback will be is also going to be a good question for them. Is it going to be Eli Holston, the Alabama transfer, or is it going to be Nate Yarnell? Who knows? The defense also lost a lot of production to the transfer portal, on top of already being a defense that gave up nearly 30 points per game. So, I can't really say too many good things about this Pitt team. It's very much not the kind of team that we think of when we think of Pat Narduzzi, especially this team that was so undisciplined last year. I mean, over 700 yards and penalties. How can you win doing stuff like that?
Can't, especially with the offense not as good. So to confirm your starting quarterback, we have Nate Yarnell is the starter, confirmed by Cade Bell himself. He went into spring practices as the starter, so far he is the starter. And speaking of Cade Bell, he brings his running back over, Desmond Reed, 131 carries, 897 yards, 6.8 a carry with 13 touchdowns. So he looks to bring a lot of scoring to this Pitt team who desperately needs it. Raphael Williams, a wide receiver, transfers in 47 catches, 658 yards, and 6 tuds. They also bring in Key Thompson. He transfers in with 94 total tackles, 42 solos, 2 pass breakups, a sack and a half, an interception, and a forced fumble. Now, these numbers I have show you why Pitt was a bad offense. 114th in total offense, 49th in total defense, not as bad. 114th in scoring offense, 73rd in scoring defense, 120th in rushing, 66th in rushing defense, 75th in passing, 42nd in pass defense, 118th. Now, I want you to know there's 130 schools that's being ranked in the FBS. And third down conversion percentages, 48th in third down conversion percentages on defense. So Pat Narduzzi, while he doesn't have the offense at Pitt last year, he had a decent defense. So at least he held up his end of the bargain there a little bit. Not a lot of it, but a little bit. It was way better than the offense. I will say that. But if we don't have anything else, we can go on to the schedule.
I wanted to talk about the numbers at least, since you brought up their rushing. So total rushing yards last year was about 1,518. Their defense gave up more than what they gained. Defense gave up 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns, and they only had 10 touchdowns. So they had 2 times less touchdowns than what they gave up.
It was bad. All right. First game against Kent State. And I ain't gonna lie, I gave them the W here.
Yeah, I gave them a W here as well.
Yep.
I can also see them losing this game, unfortunately. But I'm gonna give them the W. Then we go to at Cincy. I gave them an L at Cincinnati.
I gave them a W for this one.
I'm with you, Carl. I gave him an L.
I think Scott Frost. No, not Scott Frost. Jesus Christ, why did I just bring his name up? Wow. So sorry about that one, fellas. Scott Frost is the guy that got fired from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Don't know how that name just popped in my head. Scott Satterfield was the name I'm looking for. I think Scott Satterfield is going to I think he's going to build something at Cincy. I don't think it's going to be like too crazy, but I think it's going to be better with Pitt is coming with next year or this coming year. West Virginia. This is why I said Mark is going to hate me in the chat if you were in the NFL chat earlier. For some weird reason, maybe because it's the backyard brawl and they're at home this year, I have Pitt winning this.
I have Pitt losing.
I'm not mad at you. I honestly picked this game because they're at home in a rivalry game.
Yeah, I know they're at home. It's just I just think West Virginia is probably just going to be the more talented team.
And I'm not mad at you there. And I'm not mad because they were really good in the trenches last year. They were a pretty decent defensive team, and they could run the ball and control the clock. I don't know. I think Narduzzi might have his guys motivated enough to, hey, we're not losing this backyard brawl.
But that is the thing about Narduzzi. He can find some motivation for his guys, and he can develop them up. So, you know, if you have those abilities, you're never completely out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have West Virginia winning this game.
All right. So I'm the lone wolf there. Youngstown State, I have this as a W.
W.
At UNC, I have this as an L. Cal, as previously stated, L. Syracuse, I have as a W.
L.
Sorry, I'm not high on Syracuse at all. At SMU, I have as an L. UVA, I have as a sneaky dub, and here's why. Because I think I'm going to. Well, let me hear what y'all say first.
I have it as a W.
I have
L, Dave.
I have it as a loss.
I think Pat Narduzzi might be able to rattle Calandria. That's why I have it as a W.
I do too.
Clemson, I have as an L. Louisville,
L.
And then at BC, L.
L.
So I have Pitt 5-7, 2-6 in ACC play.
4-8, 1-7 in ACC play.
I have them 3. I think I have them 3-9.
Same as last year. Yeah, 5-7, 2-6. Moving kind of in the right direction. Narduzzi, I think you need to attack the transfer portal a little bit harder. Don't be stubborn.
Don't be like Dabo Sweeney.
He can't afford to be.
We don't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury.
But we're gonna move on to another first-year ACC team in SMU. SMU first year coming from the AAC, where they came off a championship season. First time winning a championship, since the 80s, I think. Coming off a 10-2 season. They beat Tulane for the American Championship, which I thought Tulane was going to win that. I thought Tulane was about to be back-to-back. I'm not going to lie. Then they come off of Fenway Bowl loss, as discussed earlier, against Boston College 23-14. They returned 8 starters on offense, 6 on defense, which is part of the reason why I'm so high on them. Preston Stone returns 206 for 344, 3,197 yards, 59.9% completion percentage, which could be better, but 28 touchdowns to 6 picks. That's like 4-1. So really good there. Then he had 62 carries for 198 yards and 4 touchdowns as the quarterback. They bring back Jalen Knighton as well, 136 carries, 745 yards, 7 touchdowns at running back. They bring back Jake Bailey, 42 catches, 528 yards at wide receiver. RJ Maryland, 34 catches, 518 yards, 7 touchdowns at tight end. Bring back Kobe Wilson at linebacker, 82 total tackles, 48 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, an interception, and a forced fumble. Isaiah Nokobia returned 61 total tackles, 41 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns at safety. Elijah Roberts returns at the end. 37 total tackles, 21 solos, 9.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles. Elijah Chapman, 33 total tackles, 23 solos, 5.5 sacks. They lost him. He went to the Giants at the tackle. Lost Brian Massey, 30 total tackles, 23 solos, and a forced fumble. He transferred to Houston at DB. Lost Charles Woods, 27 total tackles, 23 solos, 11 pass breakups, cornerback, currently on the Rams. They had the 57th ranked recruiting class with 32nd in transfers. I'm going to just talk about the one transfer I have on here was Deuce Harmon at cornerback, which I thought was a really good pickup coming out of Texas A&M. 18 total tackles, 14 solos. I believe he had 7 pass breakups and an interception. I like that transfer pickup out of them. I think a lot of the transfers that they got, however, are like guys who didn't get opportunities to play, who's coming to SMU for a shot to get a chance to play. And I kind of like that. Competition brings out the best in everybody. But, Ace, give me something about SMU.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, I think SMU has a very potent offense led by an NFL prospect, quarterback, and Preston Stone. I think he's going to wow a lot of people who probably never saw him play before this season. On top of that, they're returning 6 wide receivers that all have over 20 catches, which will only help their offense continue to be dynamic. Their defense was also a very quiet as kept, a bright spot for them. They allowed under 20 points per game. Well, the cornerback position. Stop, Jesus, it's fucking cat. The cornerback. My bad. The cornerback position is going to be questionable after losing 2 of their starters, and it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust the ACC play. But they do bring back 10 of their top 11 tacklers from last year, so I think SMU is going to really surprise a lot of people and play a lot of competitive ball and probably win a lot of games.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
I am in agreement on that. I definitely think SMU is going to be really good. I think that high-power offense is going to come over to the ACC and not really change. I think that high-power offense is going to be really good. They had Preston Stone threw for 3,000 yards last year, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. QBR was 71.6, but I mean, I don't really. I'm not really going to pay too much attention to that. His completion percentage, I think, needs to get better though. He only had a 60% completion. I rounded up, so 60% completion percentage last year. I just think he needs to improve there. He doesn't really give up the ball a lot, so that's going to work out really well for him. I'm just very, very interested to see how SMU is going to play in ACC play. Coming over from the AAC, now playing in the ACC. They were 10-2 last year, so this is I think this is going to be a really, really good season for SMU coming over ACC.
So my thing before we get into the schedule about the SMU coming to the ACC is, and some ACC heads might kill me in the comments if you are in the comments, I don't think the ACC is that good. I think it's top heavy. So you got this year so far we have Miami, Clemson, Louisville. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty mediocre. So I think SMU can thrive in the ACC.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying.
Also, Rhett Lashley is already familiar with a lot of these ACC teams, so it's not like he's going to be going in there facing people that he's never seen before.
Exactly. And then they had Power 5 conference experience with TCU and things like that. So I think SMU is going to be fine. Some numbers: 16th in total offense, 12th in total defense, 8th in scoring offense, 11th in scoring defense, 40th in rushing, 28th in rushing defense, 22nd in passing, 13th in passing defense, 38th in third down percentage conversion percentage, and 4th in third down conversion percentage getting off the field on defense. Great numbers for SMU, and you return a lot of that starting projection. So I think SMU should be fine. We'll get into the schedule. And I'm not going to lie, I have SMU winning every game but the Louisville game, going 11-1, 7-1. Any disagreements?
I have SMU going 9-3. I do have them losing to Florida State, Louisville, and possibly Duke, but I'm not mad at 11-1 to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got them 10-2. I want to see Florida State game and I don't have them losing against Duke. I think Duke wins that game. But I only had them losing to Florida State and Louisville. That's it.
I have them being not Louisville, Florida State, man. Again, DJ Young, sorry, not sorry. I have them going 11-1.
Shootout, yeah, it's ugly.
I don't even think it's gonna be a shootout. I think this defense turns them over. Yeah, man. I got them going 11-1, 7-1. Could that make the ACC championship game? We're gonna find out. But I have them coming in and doing their thing.
Very interesting. I'm not mad at that at all. I would love to see that actually.
Yeah, man. Wait, I don't think you would. Would you? Oh yeah,
Look. If we play them in the ACC championship, I'm perfectly fine with that.
No, I thought y'all played them in the regular season. Y'all don't. But I think they get their revenge against TCU, which I don't even know how they didn't get it last year. But I think they get their revenge against TCU. I think they're gonna be really good. We move on to Stanford. So Stanford coming off a 3-9, 2-7 season. Again, first year in the ACC, coming out the Pac-12. Returned 9 offensive starters. I believe that's correct. Let me check my little notes right here to make sure. Bad handwriting. There we go. Yep, 9 on offense, 7 on defense. No, hold on. Let me get me back on. Oh my God, what am I computer doing? There we go. 7 on defense. Ashton Daniels returns at quarterback, 191 yards, 191 yards, 191 to 325, 2,247 yards, 58.8% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns to 8 picks, which is not great. We had 110 carries for 296 yards and 3 tuds. Alec Ailminer, who me and Ace were alluding to earlier at wide receiver, 62 catches, 1,013 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And if we all remember, 3 of those came against Colorado. So in that crazy comeback game that Colorado should not have lost. Tiger Bachmeier, the second leading receiver, returns with 36 catches, 409 yards, and 2 tuds at receiver. They have Sam Rush returns at tight end, 28 catches for 288 yards and no touchdowns. At linebacker, they return Gathan Bernadelle, 87 total tackles, 45 solos, half a sack, and a pass breakup. David Bailey at linebacker, 34 total tackles, 22 solos, and 5 sacks. Scotty Edwards returns at safety, 45 total tackles, 25 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, and 2 picks. They did lose Ben Yurcek, tight end that went to Georgia, 16 catches, 239 yards, and a touchdown. They lost E.J. Smith to Texas A&M, running back, Emmitt Smith's son, 53 carries for 218 yards, 4.1 a carry, and a tud. They lost Alakai Gilman. Alakai Gilman, 50 total tackles, 29 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a pick. Safety transferred to Utah. Had the 49th overall recruiting class, was actually shocking for a Stanford recruiting class. That's kind of high for them. But transfers, they had the 129th transfer class. Again, that's out of 130. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Their only transfer I want to talk to y'all about is Josiah Gavin. He transferred in from University of Northern Iowa. He's a linebacker. 67 total tackles, 33 solos, 3 pass breakups, a forced fumble, and a pick. Who did I start with? I think I started with Dave. No, I started with Ace. Go ahead, Dave. Talk about Stanford.
Only thing I was going to highlight was Alec Ailminer, and y'all already talked about him, so there ain't really too much I could really add on to that. Other than him averaging 16.3 yards a catch, he was their highlight last year. Other than that, they didn't really have much else. Like you said, those touchdowns, 3 of those came against Colorado, and again, where we thought Colorado was going to win that game, but clearly that didn't happen.
They went up. I think they went up like 2-3 touchdowns at one point and still lost. That's crazy.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, like you guys have been saying, I don't think there's much to say about this Stanford team, especially not many bright spots. This is the team that allowed 41 sacks last year, 129th in total defense, allowed over 400 yards per game, and nearly 40 points per game. They didn't even have any running backs leading the team in rushing. So
it was Ashton Daniels.
Yeah, with that being said, I don't think Stanford will be good this year either. Again, I think they are in the ACC to boost the academic profile.
That is hilarious and also very true. They weren't just 129th in total defense. They was 129th in scoring defense. 89th in total offense, 110th in scoring offense, 103rd in rushing, which is actually surprising. 91st in rushing defense, 57th in passing, 130th in passing defense, tied 95th on third down conversion percentages, and 130th in third down conversion percentages on defense. Meaning, if you went for it on third down, you're probably not went for it. If you've got them third down, Stanford on third down, you probably won't get it.
Colorado lost to that.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, that is true.
I mean, Colorado only went 3 games last year too. So.
I'm joking. NCAA, I love your game. We're going to the schedule. TCU, I have as an L, first game of the season.
L.
I have them beating TCU. I think TCU is bad.
I'm not mad. Look, I'm mad. I want to be mad, but I don't know what to expect from TCU.
I don't think TCU is good.
I do like Hoover, the quarterback that's replacing Chandler Morris. I do like Josh Hoover. I think if he can cut down on some turnovers, he'd be pretty solid. But
I mean, I could be wrong, but it's a
that defense. That defense got to improve a lot. That's my only kill.
Yeah, that defense is atrocious.
Cal Poly, I have as a W.
W.
Syracuse, I have as an L.
I have that as a W.
They're all L's until San Jose State.
I am with you except for one other game.
Wake Forest.
Yep.
That's fair.
I'm with you until Wake Forest. Other than that, L's until San Jose State. And I low key can see Jed Fisher, San Jose State getting that. No, Jed Fisher at Washington. Who's that? Oh, that's Navy former head coach. I'm not about to butcher his name on the show. But yeah. And I can finish the rest. He's the head coach of San Jose State, and I could see him winning that game.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah,
I have it as a W too. But I'm just saying, like, that can't happen.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So I have Stanford going 3-9 and 1-7.
3-9.
3-9. 0-8.
Because you have TCU. You're right. Ew, that's disgusting. Syracuse. Syracuse is next. And again, I'm not high on Syracuse. Syracuse, new head coach, Fran Brown, taking over for Dino Babers. Kind of sucks that he's gone, but maybe well needed. Coming off a 6-6, 2-6 season, lost the Boca Raton Bowl, 45-0 to USF. Returned 9 starters on offense, 5 starters on defense. LaQuint Allen is the main starter returning on Syracuse offense, running back who had 245 carries for 1,064 yards, 4.3 a carry, and 9 touchdowns. Omari Hatcher returns with 32 catches, 482 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Dan Valeria, tight end, returns with 20 catches, 180 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Marlo Wax, one of my favorite linebackers in the country, returns on defense. 180 total tackles, 74 solos, 4 sacks, 2 PBUs, an interception, and 4 forced fumbles. Man is laying the wood on the field. Justin Barron returns at safety. 89 total tackles, 54 solos, half a sack, 3 PBUs, interception, and 3 forced fumbles. They lost Garrett Schrader, which might not be a loss. 134 of 214, 1,686 yards, 62.6 completion percentage, which actually was surprising to me. 13 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Of course, we know Garrett Schrader gets it done on the ground with 113 carries, 469 yards, and I want to say 8 touchdowns at the quarterback position. Lost Damian Alford, wide receiver. He went to Utah, 33 catches for 610 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lost Kevon Darton, D lineman, and with Arizona, 43 total tackles, 25 solos, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Lost Jeremiah Wilson, 16 total tackles, 13 solos, 5 pass breakups, an interception, and a touchdown. DB that went to Houston. Lost Stephon Thompson, 51 tackles, 28 solos, a sack and a half, forced fumble, linebacker that went to Nebraska. But Elijah Clark returns, I believe, at safety with 64 total tackles, 36 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. They actually held the 36th overall recruiting class with the 24th overall transfer class, including Cal McCord. Ace, talk about Syracuse.
Yeah, so obviously Syracuse didn't have one of the worst offenses in the ACC last year. However, I do think them getting Kyle McCord brings some stability to the offense, because I'm not saying Kyle McCord is a Heisman contending quarterback, but I do think Kyle McCord is very decent, and I think that if he plays with confidence, he can be pretty good. I think his play does still kind of depend on their line improving. They still have one of the best tight ends. Or was he tight? I can't remember how you say his first name.
Game Valeri.
Oh, no, Gadsden, Orandi.
Oh, no, huh? Tight end.
Yeah, he's not tight end.
You talking about Amari Hatcher?
No, maybe I got the wrong person, but I thought his name was Orandi Gadsden. Either way, like you said, Marlo Wax, great linebacker. And Fran Brown is already a defensive-minded coach anyway, so I think their defense may be pretty solid. They have a nice secondary coming back as well. I think Syracuse can win some games this season.
Yeah, Brandon Browner.
No, huh?
He said Brandon Browner as the
Fran Brown.
Fran Brown, yeah.
Fran Brown. Oh, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I have to disagree with you about Kyle McCord, bro. I'm sorry. Kyle McCord literally held Ohio State back last year. He had Marvin Harrison. He had Emeka Ibuka. He had Cade Stover, and his team offensively just was not fluid, which was all on Kyle McCord. Syracuse has nothing close to that receiving core I just named.
This is true. I feel like Kyle McCord it was like a confidence thing and like a system thing. Like, I don't know if it's that he's just straight dog.
How do you lack confidence with Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Ibuka, and Cade Stover? And I didn't even mention Julian Fleming and Carnell Tate and guys like that.
Can't be CJ Stroud.
Maybe it's the pressure.
Why can't be CJ Stroud? You could be what's his name? Why am I blanking on bro name who said I didn't come to school?
You can be Braxton Miller.
I'm not even talking about Braxton Miller because Braxton Miller was super dynamic. I'm talking about
Cardell Jones.
Yeah, Cardell Jones.
Oh,
you're right. Maybe I'm putting too much on the white boy. I don't know.
Yeah. Syracuse went 6-7 last year. Was it 2-6 in ACC play, which is, putrid. I don't really got too much. They were 4-2 at home, 1-4 on the road. So
Carrier Dome is a little different.
Yeah, you got that. So at least they got a winning record at home. So that's one thing.
I think that one win on the road was Purdue too, which is disgusting, bruh.
Yeah, and then they you could tell that they were pretty much middle of the pack on both sides for real, because they gave up 330 points on defense but scored 306 on offense.
Some turnovers. There's a turnovers, bro. I think Syracuse is like turnover prone.
Yeah, and then when you look at their rushing touchdowns, they gave up 16, but only scored 20. Passing, they gave up 21, but only scored 17. So it's very, the numbers are very close when it comes to that stuff, and it's just average.
Yeah, man, it's the turnovers. So some transfers I have here. I got Devin Grant transferring in from Buffalo, safety, 79 total tackles, 55 solos, 3 pass breakups, a forced fumble, and 5 interceptions. I actually think I remember watching him at Buffalo. He was pretty solid. Justin Ross Simmons from Colorado State at wide receiver looks to bolster this receiving core. He comes in with 45 catches, 724 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Deuce Chestnut actually returned. So he was at Syracuse, went to LSU last year. Now he's back at Syracuse. He had a pick for LSU, but I think that's a good pickup to bring him back. And I have Fidel Diggs, an edge rusher from Texas A&M, 36 total tackles, 22 solos, 2 pass breakups, and 4 sacks. I think that's good for that D-line there with Fran Brown. Some numbers like Dave said, 97th in total offense, 67th in total defense, 90th in scoring offense, 36th in scoring defense, which is actually solid, 47th in rushing, 39th in rush defense, 114th in passing, 78th in passing defense, 63rd on third down conversion percentage, and 84th on third down conversion percentage on defense. Anything else before we go into the schedule? So we have Ohio. I gave him the W, but I ain't want to. But I gave him the W.
Yeah, I gave him the W too.
Yeah, I gave him a W for this.
Georgia Tech, as previously stated, an L.
L.
Oh.
Stanford, a W.
W.
I gave that to Stanford.
Holy Cross, I gave him a W.
W.
I gave him a W.
UNLV, I gave him an L at UNLV. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I did too.
I went back and forth on this, but I gave him a W.
Man, my boy Ricky White might go crazy, and I think Jada Maiva's back. I think with UNLV, they're looking really primed to push for a Mountain West championship. Give him an L. At NC State, I gave him an L.
I gave him an L.
L.
Okay, I can do this. The rest of the games I have them losing, except for UConn, and that one I was going back and forth with. Any disagreements?
I have them winning UConn, but I also have them winning Boston College, but it's iffy.
I had them losing that one because they're on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have them losing now all up until UConn.
So I have Syracuse going 4-8, 1-7 in ACC play, taking a step back, which I don't think Frank Brown really gets, for lack of a better term, in trouble for.
Yeah, I have them going 7-5 or 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
You higher than the 9.
Hold on, we ain't that far off. Oh, you gave me the UNLV. No. Oh, yeah, you gave me the UNLV W, and you gave them.
And Boston
you do have
College.
6-6. You have 6-6. Yep.
Yeah.
I got him 3-9.
Wait, where did we disagree, Dave? Stanford. You have them losing to Stanford. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're moving on. Kind of want to talk about my boy. I know this is my boy right here. UVA. And I know Ace probably looking at me crazy because he doesn't understand why I like Calandria so much. But, man, he's got that dog in him.
No, I like Calandria. I think he's exciting. I remember watching him.
He just got to stop the picks. These turnovers got to stop, Calandria.
He's small, bro. He's so short.
Please, bro, just stop the turnovers, bro. You was supposed to be Maryland last year, but you threw 3 picks. Stop it, and we good. Virginia was coming off a 3-9 season, 2-6 in the ACC, which I put in parentheses, which I perfectly predicted. I had them going 3-9, 2-6 before the season started. So pat on the back. Return 5 starters on offense. 8 on defense. Anthony Calandria returns. He went 154 with out of 246, 1,958 yards, 62.6 completion percentage, 13 touchdowns to 9 picks. Again, stop the picks. Kobe Pace returns at running back, 125 carries for 382 yards, 3.1 a carry with a tud. Malachi Fields returns, second leading receiver, 58 catches, 811 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Jonas Sanker returns at safety, 107 total tackles, 73 solos, 11 pass breakups, and 3 forced fumbles. Cam Robinson at linebacker returns with 71 total tackles, 46 solos, a sack. I think this is supposed to be a 1 pass breakup and 2 picks. James Jackson returns at linebacker with 80 total tackles, 34 solos, a sack, 5 pass breakups, and a pick. Cam Butler returns with 23 total tackles, 16 solos, and 3.5 sacks on the D-line. They lost Paris Jones, the running back, with 76 carries, 93 yards, 5.2 a carry, and 2 tuds. Lost Malik Washington, who was an absolute dog. They lost him. He had 110 catches, 1,426 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He's currently on the Dolphins, which could be dangerous, to be honest. Him on the Dolphins could be dangerous if he makes the team. They were 70th overall in the recruiting class, 54th in transfers, which is actually kind of good for UVA because UVA has such high academic standards. It's kind of hard to transfer in. I got 4 transfers I want to talk about. Tyler Neville transfers in from Harvard, the tight end with 24 catches, 283 yards, and 4 touchdowns, which is a nice little security blanket there. Trell Harris, a transfer from Kent State, wide receiver, 26 catches, 400 yards, and a touchdown. So solid production. Chris Tyree is the big name from Notre Dame, wide receiver, with 26 catches, 484 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then Corey Thomas Jr. transfers in from Akron, the linebacker. Actually, I have 5. Linebacker, 47 total tackles, 25 solos, 3 pass breakups. And the last one is Kempton Shine, transfers in from Eastern Michigan. 56 total tackles, 31 solos, 8 pass breakups. So solid there. I'm going to just finish this off real quick, and then I'm going to let y'all go. 76 in total offense, 101st in total defense, 93rd in scoring offense, 116th in scoring defense, 105th in rushing, 114th in rushing defense, 46 in passing, 66 in passing defense, tied 95th on third down percentage conversion, and 82nd in third down percentage conversion on defense. So numbers not looking too good. Defense is not looking good. The running, they had literally almost non-existent running game. Dave, give me UVA.
UVA 3-9 last year, 2-4 at home, 1-4 on the road. Not a really good team. When you look at that overall, 2-6 in ACC play. Overall stats, I mean, like you said, their defense was not good. Gave up 405 points last year. Gave up almost 1,000 more yards rushing. Passing was actually not too bad. The passing defense wasn't too bad. The touchdowns that was given up was the same amount that their offense had scored. So it was 19 touchdowns given up, 19 touchdowns scored on offense as far as passing. So that was pretty even the closest thing, but the rushing is where it was a little off. It was like 800 yards more that they gave up on defense than they gained on offense as far as rushing. So, I mean, other than Calandria, Virginia was just not good.
Malachi Fields, hey, that's a name to look out for. And Malik Washington was an absolute dog. But go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, like you said, Malik Washington was basically the bright spot of that team and was basically accounted for at least over half of their production last year. I think Calandria may be able to take some steps forward and be a smarter quarterback than he was last year, but I'm not confident in this team at all. They have new corners. They lacked the pass rush last year. They were last in scoring defense. They really honestly don't give us much of a reason to really think that they'll change it this year.
116th. They went. Oh, last in the ACC. I got you.
Yeah.
We ready for the schedule?
Yep.
So I have Virginia starting out 5-0 and then losing the last 7.
I have Virginia only beating Richmond and Coastal Carolina.
Dave. You muted. Hold on, I got you.
I got
There
it.
you go.
I have them winning their first 4 games and then losing the rest. I have them going 4-8.
Oh, we got them both being Maryland. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I got to be in Richmond, at Wake Forest, Maryland, Coastal, and then beating Boston College, and then losing the rest. So 5-7, 2-6 in the ACC.
Yeah, I have them losing that game against Boston College, and of course the rest after that.
Yeah, so you got them 4-8, 1-7. Your Ace.
Yeah, I have them going 2-10.
I know it's been a long episode. Blame the conference people because this is 17 teams we have to preview.
Yes.
Blame them. We are almost done. We have 2 more teams left.
Look.
We have 2 more teams left, and one of them is Virginia Tech, who I'm super high on. We're currently on the Virginia Tech Hour. Coming off a 6-6, 5-3 season, won the Military Bowl, 41-20 against Tulane. They returned 11 starters on offense. They returned 8 on defense, so a lot of that production is coming back. Kyron Jones, I know a lot of people are super high on Kyron Jones. I like Kyron Jones. I'm just not high on Kyron Jones, if that makes sense to you. He had 166. He won 166 to 285, 2,084 yards, 58.2 completion percentage, 17 touchdowns with 3 picks, which is really good. That's almost 6-1. His rank. This is why so many people are high on him because his ability to run the ball. 166 carries, 818 yards, 5 touchdowns. For a quarterback is really good. Bishal Tootin, another guy. This is a guy I'm high on at running back. 173 carries for 863 yards, 5 a carry for 10 touchdowns. Daquan Felton at wide receiver is looking to step up as well as Jalen Lane. They're looking to have bigger and better years. Daquan Felton with 38 catches, 667 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Jalen Lane had 41 catches, 538 yards, and 6 touchdowns at wide receiver. They returned Kelly Lawson at linebacker, 80 total tackles, 39 solos, 2.5 sacks, 6 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Antoine Powell-Ryland, I think he led the ACC in sacks with 9.5. Or he was close, maybe like third or something like that. But he had 40 total tackles, 23 solos, 9.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles at the DN spot. Dorian Strong, who I really like at cornerback, returns with 25 total tackles, 18 solos, 8 pass breakups, and 3 picks. Mansour Delane returns with 54 total tackles, 31 solos, a pass breakup, and a pick at cornerback. They lose DeFarius Payne to graduation, 31 total tackles, 10 solos, and 4 picks. Lost Derek Canteen to Cincy, 43 total tackles, 23 solos, 5 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Had the 47th overall recruiting class, 77th for transfers, which is kind of be expected when you bringing back so much production from the team last year that people really have high hopes for moving this year. I have 2 I want to talk about, and then 1 I don't know why he did it. Aeneas Peebles transfers in Duke defensive tackle, 44 total tackles, 13 solos, 2 pass breakups, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Sam Brunford transfers in from Middle Tennessee State linebacker, 82 total tackles, 46 solos, 3.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. Now, the guy that I don't know why he transferred in was Colin Shalee, left UCLA. This is, in my opinion, clearly Kyron Drones' team. Quarterback from UCLA and Kent State. He last year threw 25 of 47, 217 yards, 53.2 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Ace, while we wait on Dave. I'm going to just finish with the numbers real quick. My bad. 58th in total offense last year, 20th in total defense, tied 54th in scoring offense, 50th in scoring defense, 22nd in rushing, 57th in rushing defense, 95th in passing. Again, Kyron Jones, I'm going to need you to step that up. 4th in passing defense, 105th in third down completion percentage or third down conversion percentage, 31st on third down conversion percentage on defense. I think it's on Ace. Ace, give me something about Virginia Tech.
Yeah, like you said, I think this their season is going to rely on how well Kyron Drones can play. Will they be able to be consistent? Will they be able to continue the good ground game that they had last year? And how will the O-line be? Will they improve? Will they show deficiency? I think that's really what's going to come down to how well Virginia Tech season is. They have a great tackling linebackers. I believe they were the 2nd overall defense in the ACC. I think one area where they can improve on was the secondary getting more picks. More opportunities to get the ball would definitely lead to more chances to win the game.
Dave.
So I actually had a question that when I thought about Virginia Tech when it came to this season, and linebacker was one of them. They kind of struggled at linebacker last year. Pride made it a priority, though. In the transfer portal, he got linebacker Sam Brunford from Middle Tennessee State. He had 82 tackles last year, 42 solo, 3.5 sacks. Kelly Lawson returns this year, but he missed all spring practices with an injury. Then it made it a big cap for Jaden Keller and Caleb Woodson. And Jaden McDonald's also trying to solidify a spot as far as the linebacker. And also, I was looking at the defensive line, like how much better the defensive line going to be this year. They got another guy from another transfer, Antoine Powell-Ryland from Florida. He had 9.5 sacks last season. So I want to see exactly what's going to happen with them. Oh, yeah, he was on the team last year. And then they got Duke transfer, Aeneas Pebbles. And they got Josh Fuga, who's back. And they got Kamari Copeland that came into the transfer along with Kevin Gilman and Curtis Perry from Alabama. So just want to see how good this defense is going to be.
Yeah, I think the defense isn't the question. I think more so the question is the passing game.
I'm talking about just like how much better is it going to be? I know it was good last year.
It was pretty good. I'm more so questioning Cameron Jones in the passing game. I need him to do better in the passing game. Jalen Lane, a speedy receiver, transferred from Middle Tennessee State before he played last year. DeQuan Felton, pretty solid. I want to see who else can step up and be that third guy. My question mark is the passing game. All right, we can move on to the schedule. Vandy at Vandy, W. Oh, man.
W.
Marshall, tough for a game in my opinion, but I'm giving Virginia Tech the W.
Giving them a W as well.
At Old Dominion, a sneaky game. I'm giving Virginia Tech the W.
W.
Rutgers, I'm giving Virginia Tech the W.
W.
They better force an interception on Ethan Kelly-Agmanis too. If he's going to be a starting quarterback, they better get a pick that game. At Miami, I have an L. Of course, you do, especially Ace. At Stanford, W. Boston College, W. Georgia Tech, W. Clemson, L.
Oh, we skipped Syracuse.
Oh, I did. At Syracuse, W. I sure did. Thank you.
W.
Clemson's a L. Duke, W.
I got that as an L.
I got it as a W.
Ooh, I'm gonna need this one, brother.
I just think that it's just going to be Duke at home later in the season. They may just have a little more to play for, you know.
Feel you? Okay. And Virginia, I wanted to give Virginia Tech this W, but I gave it to Virginia. I mean, I wanted to give Virginia this W, but I gave it to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia not about to beat Tech this year.
Yeah,
they already struggled to beat Tech.
I gave it to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, they already struggled historically to beat Virginia Tech. And yeah, this ain't the year. So I got Virginia Tech going 10-2, 6-2 in the ACC.
I have them going 9-3.
Yeah, same 9-3.
All right, and we move forward to our last team of the freaking program. We're almost pushing 3 hours. Wake Forest. I didn't even eat dinner yet, so I'm going to get dinner after this. So yeah, Wake Forest coming off a 4-8, 1-7 record. Returning 6 offensive starters, 6 defensive starters. The main guy that they returned is Damon Claiborne. He had 137 carries for 586 yards and 4.3 a carry and 5 touchdowns at running back. You have Taylor Morin returns at wide receiver, 41 catches, 617 yards for 2 touchdowns. Tate Carney returns with 49 carries, 244 yards, 5 a carry for 4 touchdowns at running back. Dylan Hazen returns with 86 total tackles, 44 solos, and a sack at linebacker. Jasheen Davis returns with 49 total tackles, 26 solos, 7.5 sacks, 2 PBUs, and a forced fumble at linebacker. Nick Anderson returns with 33 total tackles, 19 solos, half a sack, 3 pass breakups, and a pick at DB. Lost Mitch Griffiths again. I think I talked about this earlier. He transferred to Marshall and then stepped away from the program, stepped away from football. Lost Justice Ellison. He went to running back to Indiana. 120 carries, 548 yards, 4.6 a carry, and a touchdown. Lost Jamal Banks, who went to Nebraska, wide receiver, leading receiver at that. 59 catches, 653 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Lost Malik Mustafa, who I really liked at Wake Forest, went to San Fran. 80 total tackles, 45 solos, half a sack, 2 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Lost Chilean Gons, 61 total tackles, 33 solos, a sack and a half, 5 pass breakup safety, currently on the Lions. Lost Kalen Carson, 42 total tackles, 29 solos, 8 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Currently is the Cowboys cornerback. 68th overall recruiting class and 115th transfer class, which is why I'm so low on them. Hank Bachmeier is one of the transfers I have, which I don't like. He's going to be the transfer quarterback. 182 of 269, 2,058 yards, 67.7 completion percentage, which was actually insane when I saw that. 10 touchdowns to 5 picks coming from Louisiana Tech. Was at Boise State the year prior. Capone Blue transfers in from Kent State, cornerback, 35 total tackles, 30 solos, and 10 pass breakups, which is really good. And then Branson Coombs transfers in from Southern Illinois, linebacker with 74 total tackles, 33 solos, 4 pass breakups, 2 picks, and 2 sacks. Now some numbers. Wake Forest. God. 102nd total offense. 74th in total defense. 113th in scoring offense. 70th in scoring defense, 94th in rushing, 73rd in rushing defense, 98th in passing, 77th in passing defense, 108th in third down conversion percentage, 81st on third down conversion percentage on defense. Dave, give me something about Wake Forest.
They suck. That's all I can really say.
I will take that.
They suck. Oh my gosh. Only thing I had to talk about, I mean, you brought up some of it already with the losses they had with Malik Mustafa, Jalen Gars, and Kalen Carson, but they also lost veteran D-back Deshaun Jones, who hit the transfer portal at the end of camp. So that's another guy that they lost. They're relying on Nick Anderson and Evan Slocum this season. Evan Slocum had a total of 29 tackles last season. And he started 10 games, 23 being solo. One interception in his 5th season. So it wasn't much. So I mean, so he finished with 33 tackles and an interception. So I mean, I don't see what Wake Forest did to improve this year.
Right, and Ace.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Plain and simple, I think they suck as well. They're still looking to replace Sam Hartman. They lost their leading rusher. I mean, and they have a defense that was pretty much bend don't break, but kind of broke sometimes. So it's not really a team that you're looking to go into the season and make a lot of noise. You know, maybe they can get lucky and get bowl eligible, but I doubt it.
You think they get bowl eligible? I don't even think.
I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe you.
Want to know how bad? Now, y'all want to see about stand notes. You want to hear how bad I think Wake Forest sucks? I think they beat North Carolina A&T and then lose the rest of their games.
So do I. So do I. That's exactly what I got.
I think they beat UConn.
I gave them the L. I think they can beat UConn. I gave them the L because UConn's at home.
I think they beat Louisiana, to be honest with you.
Hey, look, that might be tougher than a lot of people think.
The Raging Canes? I don't know.
Hey, that's
I ain't trying to say like it's a gimme, but I don't think that they're gonna go like 2-8. I mean 2-10.
I have them going 1-11, 0-8 in conference play.
I got them going 1-11 too.
Damn.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
I mean, I got them going 3-9. So.
I don't even trust Hank Bachmeier as it is, and then you lose your leading receiver and leading running back, and then
it's understandable.
I don't see it. 1-11 Wake Forest.
So, wrapping up the ACC. I'll start. My standings go as follows. Number 1, Clemson, 11-1, 8-0. Number 2, Louisville, 10-2, 7-1, being the tiebreaker of the Miami game. I have them winning that. Number 3, Miami. Now, I don't know the tiebreaker between Miami and SMU, so I did this in alphabetical order. 11-1, 7-1. SMU, 4, 11-1, 7-1. NC State, 9-3, 6-2. Alphabetical order. Virginia Tech, 10-2, 6-2. At 6. 7th is Florida State at 6-6, 4-4, beating most of these 4-4 teams I have. Georgia Tech at 8 with 6-6, 4-4. I think they beat Cal or UNC to do that. I have Cal at 7-5, 4-4 at number 9. UNC, I think this is alphabetical order one. UNC at 10, 7-5, 4-4. Boston College at 11, being 4-8, 3-5. Pitt being 12, 5-7, 2-6. 13 being Duke, 5-7, 2-6. 14 being UVA, 5-7, 2-6. 15 being Syracuse, 4-8, 1-7. 16 being Stanford, 3-9, 1-7. And then the rear would be Wake Forest being 1-11, 0-8. My ACC Player of the Year, Cam Ward from the University of Miami. My ACC Championship game, Clemson versus Louisville, and the winner being Clemson to win the ACC. Dave, let's hear your Player of the Year, your championship game, and your championship game winner.
So my Player of the Year, I think it's going to be Damian Martinez.
That was my second pick.
I think he's going to be the Player of the Year. Championship game, I have SMU and Miami, and I got Miami winning.
Awesome. Well, my player. We'll be ready to boo again.
Yeah,
my player of the year is going to be Cam Ward. I think he'll have a fantastic season and show his growth from the years prior. My ACC championship would be Miami and Clemson, and of course, Miami coming up on top.
All right, dude, that was coming. You got him going undefeated. I know you ain't about to have him lose the ACC championship game.
Heck no.
Not never.
No.
All right, so this has been our ACC preview. I know it's been a long preview, but again, blame the committee who decided to add 3 more teams to a 14-team conference. So we had to preview 17 teams. Y'all know I give my last word. So Dave, let me get your last words.
Man, just happy to finally make my college football debut on CTC. Glad to be talking about this stuff, man. Can't wait for I can't wait to look at the rest of the conferences. I know I won't be a part of it. I definitely just want to see what your predictions are and who's going to win what. I definitely want to see what your playoff matchups are going to be. I think that's going to be very interesting to see as well. So I'm just excited about this college football season, especially for the U. You know, it's been a while since we've been back into that conversation to where we can be great. I know we still got games that we have to play first before we get there, but all of us have at least the 3 of us have them winning at least 11 games this year. So I think that's great from what we've seen in the last
since 2019.
So it's since 2019 when we beat
wasn't a shot, Ace.
When we beat Notre Dame 41-13. I still remember that game. That was lovely. But you know, man, I'm just happy to be here and glad to be on here with my guy Ace.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here with you as well. I need some backup sometimes, you know. Carl be hating on us, but you know, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Hate this video.
This year, he did finally turn it around. He made the right decisions. He said all the right things.
Time out. I don't even know.
Very happy.
Again, I must remind y'all that I was one dumb decision away from perfectly predicting Miami's record. Continue.
You're right.
You're right. But we're not talking about you being right. We're just talking about what you said.
I didn't hate. I should have been right.
It's borderline hate. Either way, you know, I'm always happy to be here. Always happy to talk college football with you, man. It's always a pleasure.
Man, I appreciate it.
And I cannot wait for this review later on, and y'all can see that I was right about Syracuse.
About about what? Miami going undefeated and win the ACC?
No, I didn't say that.
You said Syracuse.
I didn't say. I said about
Syracuse.
Yeah.
What you say
about Syracuse? Hey, look, you got it, bro.
I just said they had a better record than y'all was going to have. That's all.
Yeah, I had them at 4-8, and I think you had them winning 3 games or something like that.
Yeah, four is gracious to me.
I had them in like 5, I think.
No, I had them at 4-8, and I think Dave had them.
I don't even want to go back and look. But.
Hey, look, man.
Okay.
I do not care enough about Syracuse. If you're right, then you are right, bro. I'm sorry. And to Syracuse can make me excited about football again. I'm cool. My final words. ACC panel has been a long one, but it was fun. I had fun. 3 hours flew by. I hate to say that I think Clemson is going to win the ACC, but y'all know I don't show bias on my show, and so I have to leave this Clemson South Carolina rivalry out of it. Put the thumb down all you want, but ACC has been ran by Clemson and Florida State for quite a long time now. Florida State just getting back on top.
First ACC championship, calling it.
Okay. Big Ten college preview will be Saturday. Time TBD. I said it out there for Teddy. I said it out for anybody who don't want to be a part of it. Saturday. If you want to do just your team, pop in, just do your team and leave. I'm cool with that. If you want to do the whole episode with me, just let me know. Again, time TBD, but it will for sure be on Saturday. Have to be on a strict schedule because college football is around the corner, and I need the last week for my playoff predictions, championship prediction, and award prediction before I do my preview that Friday before the game. So I need to lock it in. So let me know. Yeah, man. Other than that, like I said, man, this is fun. Ace, always fun talking college football with you, Dave. Appreciate you finally making your college football debut. That's all I have for y'all today. I'm saying that like we wasn't on here for 3 hours, but that's all I got for y'all today. Man, until Saturday, it's been great. But I'm gone to finally get some dinner. Peace.
That's one.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.